Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out. Uncertainty, self-doubt, stressing about not knowing where to start. In. Plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out. Word art. Sorry, live, laugh, lovers. In. Knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week in Mount Zion, Illinois, when a head wrapped in plastic and other body parts are found to belong to a missing young woman, investigators find only one way to crack the mystery. The DNA of a dog, of course. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, an immense amount for joining us today. We are excited as usual. We've had some wild stuff lately, and it's going to continue this week again because we're in Illinois, and it's always an insane case in Illinois for some reason. So we're going to get back there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Just want to thank everyone, first of all, for your reviews this week. They help a lot. The Apple Podcast, that purple icon, we don't understand why they count. If it was up to us, we wouldn't have it at all. Thered be no review system, but it's there. It helps drive you up the charts. So give us 5 stars. That helps a lot if you haven't done that yet. Anyway, go over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now for everything Small Town Murder and everything crime and sports as well.
Why would you want to go there for something crime and sports, James?
Well, something very special is going to be going on sale very, very shortly. Keep checking up on there and follow us on social media at Murder Small, at Small Town Pod, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. Check all those out because this week the virtual live show for crime and sports goes on sale. Yes. And I don't even care if you haven't heard crime and sports. A crime and sports live show
Oh, I can't wait.
is you won't see a better comedy show.
There. Yeah.
It's so good. I'm telling you right now, it's really, really wild and crazy stuff. So get your tickets there. ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com on sale very, very shortly. And also Patreon. Oh, my goodness. We have had some wild stuff on Patreon. Last week we did the Hotel Cecil deal, and then we of course had the prisoner dating game, which was our best edition of it yet, I believe. So if you missed that, you're going to want that.
Sticky, yeah.
Yes, patreon.com/crime and sports. This week coming up for Crime and Sports, which you'll also get if you sign up, you get access to all the Patreon, is going to be about Marv Albert, the 90s basketball announcer who had a hilarious sex scandal, let's just say, for a weird old bald guy who says yes when a ball goes in a basket to have it's just a weird story. So we have to check that out. And then for Small Town Murders bonus, we are going to talk all about the Netflix. Is it Netflix, right?
It is.
Yes,
yeah.
Netflix.
The Night Stalker.
The
Netflix
Night Stalker documentary. We're going to talk about that and Richard Ramirez and all that weird stuff. And we can't usually talk about serial killers on Small Town Murder because it just doesn't go. And people have talked about them, but on Patreon we can do it. So it's so much fun.
Small towns don't usually generate the serial killer. They're
Not
generally in a sprawling metropolis where, there's lots and lots of victims.
More people to kill. Yeah, that's the thing. You want to have a larger... It's harder to kill people if everyone knows you. Yeah. Well, who'd you see killing them? It was
killer,
Bob.
you got to go where the people are.
That's how it works. So check all that out. Patreon.com/crime and sports. It's a lot of fun. You get access to the whole back catalog, and Jimmy will mispronounce your name at the end of the show because you are now a producer and honestly a hero of ours. So thank you so much for that, and everyone who's done
the credit. Thank you.
You do. And if you just want to be an amazing person and have great karma and also be a producer and get your name mispronounced, you can do that as well over at PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com.
Right.
That said, quick disclaimer, because we got a lot of show. This case is it's insane. It's absolutely insane. So quickly, it's a comedy show. We're comedians. This is there's going to be jokes made and there's going to be people dead because if nobody died, Small Town Murder would really be kind of false advertising. So there will be a murder and we're going to talk about it and jokes will be made. What we do and go out of our way to do is we try and make sure we don't make fun of the victim or the victim's family.
Why?
Because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags, Jimmy. That's how it works there.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's a lot of comedy in the crazy idea of to kill somebody and the plot leading up to it and how are we going to get away with it. It's really absurd. So there's plenty to make fun of with the murderer and, of course, small towns because, everybody's from somewhere. I made fun of where I'm from a few episodes ago, so you can take it too. But if that sounds good to you, we're going to have fun.
Yes.
You think true crime and comedy should never, ever go together? Maybe this isn't for you. But maybe it is. And if it is, I think it's time to sit back and shout, shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, Jimmy.
Okay.
Let's go on a trip, shall we?
I would. I'd really, really love it.
We need to. We need to go somewhere. We are coming from Nevada last week with one of the craziest people that we've ever had on this show. That guy's arrest was I don't think we've had anything nuttier on the whole show than hanging onto a luggage rack, surfing on the back bumper, screaming obscenities at an elderly couple. That's the craziest arrest in the history of the world.
Remember the video game Sketchin'? Do you remember that?
That sounds familiar.
It was when rollerblades were popular, and you had rollerblades, and you would grab the back of a car, and then you'd punch people that were riding the car with you. And
but would you?
That's what it reminded me.
Would you stand on the bumper while hanging off the luggage rack? That seems like a great. If he had rollerblades, I'd see what he was up to. I'd go, okay, I get it. He's just hitching a ride. That was insane, though, and what he did was also even crazier. And pyramids and the Mount Olympus and all that shit. So this week, though, we're going to Illinois. Back to Illinois, one of our favorite states to cover always. They're always very receptive, and they like to be made fun of. They like to be roasted. They're good people in Illinois, our kind of people. That's why we're always there. That's why we tour there the most, and they're just the best to us. So we're going to Mount Zion, Illinois, which is, central Illinois. I guess
that was in Utah.
There's a few of them, actually. There's a lot of Mount Zions. It's a common name throughout the country. I don't know how many there are, but there's got to be at least 10 of them in the U.S., I'm sure. So this is
original.
This is in central Illinois, though. This is like if Illinois was a dartboard, this is the bullseye. It's dead center. It's right outside of Decatur, Illinois, which is kind of their little hub. There's like maybe 70,000 people there.
Another town that is plentiful.
Plentiful. And it also
so many Decatur's.
A lot of Decatur's. And the county name, too, is common. It's really weird. This is about 3 hours to Chicago, about 2 hours to St. Louis. So it's kind of, a little in the middle of the two of them, halfway between this and that. 3 hours and 20 minutes to Streamwood, Illinois, which was our last Illinois episode, which was Some Dogs Find All the Legs. There.
Oh, that's with Friendly.
That was Friendly the dog, yeah. So we're back in Illinois, and a dog is going to play another big part of this case, which is so strange.
What the hell is happening there?
Yeah, I feel like this is a halfway point between other places where you stop to pee.
Okay.
I feel like most
police
people
force is just dogs.
It's just dogs and some sort of pee enforcement agency.
That old photo of dogs playing poker is a picture of their police force on lunch break.
Well, that's Friday night when they get together for team building. That's what that is. This is in Macon County, which it's Decatur and Macon, which are both Georgia.
Very southern.
Weird. Area code 217. It's about 4 square miles, not that big. They actually have a town motto, though, this small town, on their website. It is, quote, "Build your story here."
Oh.
That's there's another one also that I found. It's not, they don't put it on the signs, but it's true. Quote, "You're halfway to somewhere better," which I think is I think that's an optimistic.
Yeah.
It's optimistic, right?
Sure.
I think that's a good one. Personally.
Build your story here, because there will definitely be an end.
You're going to leave, probably. No, people actually like this town. It's I couldn't find very bad reviews of it.
Really?
They really like it here.
They're fine with it.
They love it. So the history of this town, Macon County, quickly was formed out of a part of Shelby County. It was named for Nathaniel Macon, who was a colonel in the Revolutionary War and later was a senator. And then he also in this county, this is where Abraham Lincoln and his family moved in 1830.
Awesome.
So when he was young, they came here.
Real history. I like it.
It's some history shit. So the township here, I found a history of this town, and I'm like, Jesus, what a fucking boring history. So I'm going to give you like the Sahara Desert fart fact of the historical part of the town here. Just dry, very dry thing here. The township is bounded by on the north by the Long Creek, on the west by the Wheatland and South Macon Townships, on the south by Millam Township, on the east by Moultrie County. It has an area of 39 square miles. Ooh, boy, that is wonderful. The township is well drained by Finley, Big, and Sandy Creeks.
Okay.
So there's that. There's a lot of streams and shit.
All the water's leaving.
It seems like it, and a lot of things are leaving from here. The first settler was a guy named James Finley. He came from Kentucky in 1827 and built a cabin out of just fucking... He didn't, make lumber. He just built it out of logs. Just chopped trees down and laid them on top of each other and was like, that's a house now.
Didn't trade them. Didn't take
no.
the bark off. Just stacked them.
Unhewn logs is what they say. That's just nothing there. Rob Lowe, actually.
Oh?
Rob Lowe built the first mill in Mount Zion Township in 1835.
Not that, yeah. Okay.
Well,
and then went on to...
Then he filmed himself having sex with a girl inside of the mill. That was the thing. That's what happened there. It was a band mill run by horsepower. Okay, holy shit. So reviews of this town. This is the worst review I could find on here. This is a 3-star review, the worst one. Quote, "Mount Zion is a quaint little town with a small population of predominantly white people. This does not seem to be what the town is looking for. They are a small town people with big-time vision. Christianity is the acclaimed unofficial religion. Town gatherings for fall or spring bubble into a bountiful array of smiling children." What the fuck kind of review is this? The children
what? Well, hold on. Bubbling
bubble into a bountiful array of smiling children.
That's a citizen there?
Calm down, Longfellow. Relax. Jesus Christ. Holy
Walt Whitman
shit.
over here, loving his place.
My God. The children are very adaptive in regards to cultural variations. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
This could only be reflective of the acceptance and open-mindedness of the loving, qualified leaders or mentors. This is the mayor, or like the mayor's wife. The loving, qualified leaders? Who calls their mayor a loving, qualified leader, or anybody who runs
Nobody's
their town?
ever said that, except for maybe their assistant or somebody that wants them to run for president.
Yeah.
So they can say, I've been on board the whole time.
Or their aunt. who's like, he's such a good boy. He was always he was a nice boy. He used to mow my lawn. I didn't even have to ask him. He'd just come over and start mowing.
Barack Obama's brother wouldn't have written that shit about him.
Nobody would. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. This is like it's like a marketing.
It feels just so foreign and ridiculous.
It's just very odd. It's an odd thing. It's very strange. Here's 4 stars here. There's a low crime rate, and I don't have to worry about packages disappearing. Okay, that's good.
Okay. No
also,
pirates.
Also, the traffic is not very congested, while at the same time, the city is surprisingly clean and there's not a lot of pollution. But the whole town smells bad because of a giant soybean processing factories nearby. Also, I worry about lung damage caused by a glass-making factory nearby that stores crushed glass outside. Why are you giving this town 4 stars? What are you talking about? You just said it reeks and you're worried that you have glass in your lungs, but 4 stars. What the fuck is that?
I'm coughing up blood and everything smells bad.
What would they have to do to you in this town to give it 1 star? This person. The mayor would have to come over, rip them from their home, strip them naked, and march them through the streets while kicking them in the ass and blowing a bugle. Like, what the
hang them upside down and pack their ass full of broken glass?
And then he'd be like, listen, you know what? Still, though, the traffic wasn't bad during the parade. They were marching me down the street. People could still drive right by if they wanted to. So, and my packages, I did order some shit from Amazon. When I got home from the torture, all my shit was there. So, you know what? 4 stars.
I got to my murder trial where they're framing me for murder. Surprisingly easy.
Surprisingly easy. Not bad. So strange. 4 stars. If you like small towns, it's not a bad place to live. It's very safe, but there's not a lot of things to do past 10 o'clock. Well, that's a trade-off that you make.
Yeah.
Because past 10 o'clock is when shit's not safe. So if there's nothing to do and you're in your house, then it's safe.
Right.
Plenty of families live here, but to be fair, there isn't a lot of diversity of culture. I would like to see more recreational places and more activities, especially later at night. All of those things bring more crime. Recreation brings people in. That's part of the thing. If there's nothing going on,
people get drunk and hopped up on something or other.
Yeah, if there's nothing going on,
going awry.
Nothing to do. 4 stars. Mount Zion is a quiet, safe place to live and work. That's good. The only downside is that the area around it is so rural, there's not much to do nearby. Most good entertainment restaurants and stores are at least 10 minutes away, usually much more. And here's 5 stars, the supreme town.
Yeah.
I have been living in Mount Zion for 10 years, and it is safe and welcoming. I love the fact that wherever I go, I always run into somebody I know. Ugh, Jesus. One thing I would like to see change is that it would be nice for them to bring something to town that would give it more revenue, like a new park, for example. What fucking park brings in revenue?
How does that make money, sir?
How does a park make money?
All the money.
Yeah, no one, and then, no. That's
100% overhead.
That's all overhead. Yeah, that's all shit to fix and clean and
This is the guy that's never owned a business in his life. This is the guy that's worked for the man forever.
Just a big space where people come for free, to generate revenue. If you're saying a park should be there, great, but not to generate revenue. That's not, right. Those don't go together.
I understand. I like having nice things to look at, too, but understand that costs money.
That's not going to generate shit. So people in this town, population 5,979. And that's in all of the Mount Zions. That's Mount Zion Township and this and that. They're all a bunch of little places. It's up 32% since 1990. So people are going there. More females than males by a lot. It's like 53.5% female, which is well over the national average and kind of odd when you're talking about 6,000 people. That's a big pool. Median age is older, 41.5, but everybody is like 35 to 45 or 5 to 9 years old.
Yeah.
That's it. So it's all obviously like, families and shit like that with kids. Married population, 60%. So that goes right along with that. That's very high. The divorce rate is higher than normal, actually, also, which, getting married a lot, you're going to get divorced. Some do. That's how
50% of those end.
That's how it works here. So race of this town, as it's a lot of allusions to it in the reviews of like the cultural makeup here. Right. It's 88% white, which is high. 3.3% black, which is about a quarter of the normal, and 0.5% Asian, and 1.8% Hispanic. So It's pretty fucking white, basically.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of anything else going on here. 49% are religious, which is about average in the rest of the country, and they are spread. It's the Midwest, so they are spread out all over the place. There's some Catholics, some Baptists, some Methodists, a couple of Presbyterians here and there.
Yeah. Hodgepodge of Christianity.
Hodgepodge of Christianity. 0.0% Jewish, though. None of that hodged or podged in there at all. And then 3% Islam, which is a lot, actually. That's high. There must be a community there. There has to be. Yeah. So Macon County in the last elections, or the last presidential election, 38% of the people in this county voted Democratic and 56% voted Republican, about 6% independent. So you got that. Unemployment rate here is a little bit high. A little bit higher than normal, but the household income's also a little bit higher than normal. So,
really,
median household income here is about $71,100 a year, which
is about this.
That's over the $57,000 normal. Almost 20% of the people here make $100,000 to $150,000 a year, household wise, which is great. That's really good.
That's why you got 4-star reviews, because there's some fucking money to be made.
That's the thing that helps. The jobs though are disproportionately manufacturing jobs, which is tough because those come and go. So that's the problem.
Right now they're doing okay, but in 5-10 years, who the fuck knows?
Who knows? It's 24% of the jobs here are manufacturing. It's 10% in the rest of the country. So that's...
What are they making? Do you know?
That's a lot. I don't know what the hell they're making there. Who knows? Soybeans and glass, apparently, from what I understand. That's part of it. Now, the cost of living in this town, of course, is a little bit low, too. 100 is regular average par. Here it is 78.5. So a little bit low, but the housing is only 54, which is low. Median home cost.
A cheap house.
Yeah, I know you do. You're always, no matter how bad we describe a place, people are like, it's awful. It smells like soybeans. You'll hear like a house is $82,000. And you're like, I could live there. Like,
I could hack it.
I could hack as long as my house is cheap. I don't care if I'm miserable. So
that's I think my biggest problem is that I'm historically cheap. Like it's not even. Oh, Jimmy's pretty frugal.
No, to
Jimmy's
the point of making yourself miserable. It's to the point of wanting to live in terrible places so you're not worried about your mortgage payment. It's awesome. So, $125,100 is the median home cost here.
Okay.
So that's super low. And obviously, I'm sure that all of you by now are convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt to move here. So if you are, we have for you the Mount Zion, Illinois Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here goes for about $765, which is very low. It's almost half. Yeah, it's a little over half.
Super affordable. Yeah.
I found a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,543 square foot house. Needs a lot of updating. I mean, it looks like it's 1989 in this joint. But
4 bedrooms?
4-bedroom, 2-bath, almost 1,600 square feet. So you got
That's not enough square footage for that.
No, but you got a couple of kids. You can stuff them in there. You know, if you have 3 kids and a low budget, this is a good place to be.
That'll do it. Yeah.
$104,900.
Wow.
So, I mean, you can update it a little bit for that kind of price. I found a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, 1,800 square foot house.
There you go.
It's updated a little bit more. It's very plain.
Yeah.
It's a decent house. That's what I'd call it. I go, that's a decent house.
Yeah.
$120,000.
Okay.
That's about your
doable.
That's about the average there. So that's kind of your average house. And then I found chain link fence, all that kind of shit. Yeah. Then I found a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 4,458 square foot house.
My God.
It's new looking, updated, 3-car garage, nice big house, $320,000 for that. That would be $2 million in Phoenix. That's
for
hilarious.
sure.
320
How many square feet? 5,000?
40, almost 4,500. 4,000.
Fucking hell.
That would be so expensive. It's a nice house too. $300,000. 320. Like you might be able to get them down to 310. Like what? Are you kidding me?
3 hours from Chicago, 2 hours from St. Louis.
Yeah.
That's a deal, man.
That's not bad. I'm telling you. So things, if you don't mind the crushed glass in your lungs, it's a bargain. Maybe it's got a real heavy soybean scent. Maybe it's a little valley that keeps it, a little soy pocket. So things to do here, Pony Express days.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I love whenever it's some like old timey like Heritage Festival days and all this shit. Whenever it's something old timey, you're like, oh no, like people are going to dress up in old fucking costumes and embarrass themselves.
Good, you guys.
And drive down the road on tractors.
Back then? It's not a good thing to remember.
No, it's really not. But they're going to remember it, goddammit.
Oh, yeah.
So they have, I'll go through the days of this bitch because it's got a lot going on.
Oh, boy.
Thursday, August 16th. This was from 2 years ago, 2 years ago because it got canceled last year.
Was this a route on the Pony Express? Is that why they do it? It's like a stopover or something for those guys?
It's like the Pony Express fairgrounds or something. So I don't know if. Maybe.
They're just real proud of that shit.
They just love it there. The Thursday, August 16th, carnival, they have a big carnival, I guess, which is going to take your money in crooked games of chance. It's
game of chance.
A game
Christ,
of
I
not
wish
skill.
It was chance.
Well, they're not games of skill.
It's a skill for somebody to try to fucking rig it and steal your money.
games of thievery here.
Games of charity.
That's family night that night, so you can steal from the children and grandma as well. That's great. We'll round everybody up and take their money. That's perfect.
Under the guise of family bonding, we're going to steal your money.
Sorry, you didn't win that knockoff Minion. I apologize, kid. You're fucking shit out of luck.
Sorry you didn't win the Mimo.
Yeah. Sorry that ball didn't bounce inside the goldfish bowl. I really am. I really wanted it to, but it's not gonna. It's also armband night.
Oh, boy.
I don't know what that means, but it scares me.
Yeah. There's never been a group that an armband has been a positive thing.
I don't know what. I saw that. I'm like, oh my, that's not good at all. Armband night. That's not great, but who knows? It could be an armband we don't know what it's all why does this armband have a crooked X on it? What's going on there? I think my X melted. And we're not saying you're Nazi, Central Illinois. You're not Southern Illinois, for God's sake.
Thank Christ.
Thank God for you.
You're very close.
They'll like that because everybody in Illinois makes fun of Southern Illinois, so that's good.
It's a bad area.
So at the special event arena, they have the Flip Side of Fame. That's a band that's playing.
Oh, the Flip Side of Fame. Not famous.
I was going to say the flips. I think they're wrong in their semantics there. The flip side would be you'd have to have one to have a side to flip. This is just a two-sided shitcoin because I don't know who these people are. It's a coin with a picture of Abe Lincoln squatting and taking a dump on it. And that's what that is. That's what you get for that.
Both sides.
That's the flip side. Yeah, it's on both sides. No, the other one, he's just got his cock in his hand, grabbing it. Like, fuck you. Like Johnny Rotten.
Oh my God, it gets worse.
He's flipping off the sculptor while he's grabbing his balls. like it's a Sex Pistols concert. That's what's going on. Like fucking Tupac. Yeah. So, then there's Knocker Ball Max is going on after that.
Oh, boy.
I don't know if that's large-breasted women playing some sort of ball game or I don't know what that is, but it's...
Or large-breasted women stomping on somebody's balls.
Maybe. We don't know what happens here. They have armbands on. Anything's possible, so I have no idea what's going on. Then it's bike night also that night. So I don't know. I think motorcycles I hope. Yeah. Next night, another carnival, another armband. Then the Odd Fellows Steak Dinner, which Odd Fellows is a social club.
Is it?
Yeah, my Little League, one of the teams was sponsored by Odd Fellows.
Really? Like
4 of the teams in my Little League were sponsored by social clubs. Is that weird?
Is that a bar?
No, it's a social club. It's like a...
Like a sex, like
no, like where old men fucking gather and play cards and like the Ravenite, a fucking social club. Not that the Odd Fellows are mafia; they're just a bunch of old pipe fitters, probably. But
it's like a bar, though, right? It's
a private club kind of a thing. Yeah, that's what half the teams in the league were all sponsored by.
I don't like the word social club. It leaves too much to my sick imagination.
Well, yeah, social. You imagine people are jizzing on each other. That's the most social activity you can imagine.
Because you say social club, and I'm like, oh, that sounds like a nightclub. And you're like, no. And I was like, oh, my God, what could it possibly be?
Oh, no. This is creepy.
Oh, no.
Then the band playing that night is the Brothers Odd.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So there's those guys. And then more knocker ball that night. Now, Saturday's when things pick up. There's a carnival, but that goes on early. Then there's a road race. I don't know what's up with that. That sounds dangerous. Mud volleyball after that.
Oh, yeah.
That's fun. Garden tractor pulls. So these are garden tractors that are pulling shit. Just you soup up your garden tractor, I guess.
I like that.
That sounds okay.
How badass can you get your John Deere? Let's see it.
More about engineering.
Yeah.
My brother would be great at that. He'd have he would have like this.
He builds sick things.
Yeah, he builds.
I've never seen somebody put a manual transmission into an automatic vehicle ever.
Just to do it, just because he felt like it.
Never heard of it.
And also lifted a bunch too in the process as well. It's weird.
Why do you have the transmission? Oh, I'm going to put a manual in it. Why?
Why
the fuck would you do that?
Sure. I just saw some YouTube videos. You're like, what's wrong with you?
You know, the person that bought that paid extra for that automatic.
Now you're going to pay extra to get
that.
it back. Yeah, I don't want that. It's a piece of shit. After that, there's something I don't like. Just the sound of it. It's like armband night. Could be the most beautiful, sweet thing in the world that makes me feel weird. The kitty / adult pedal tractor pull.
Nope.
I get that it's probably like a mom and her son like pedaling a tractor together and going, come on, Timmy, you can do it. But kitty / adult anything makes me creeped out. I don't like it. And then the gun whiskey band is after that.
Oh, yeah.
That's
they're good.
What do they like, everybody? People love guns. Well, fuck, I love whiskeys too. Shit. With the gun whiskey band. I don't know. Just a bunch of shit people like.
Is it gun with two N's?
No.
It's one N.
One N. Gun whiskey band. That's it. And then after them, River Bottom Nightmare Band is playing. So
I believe they're a nightmare.
And I have to show you. I'll turn the monitor toward you.
God, I can't
Here
wait.
are the pictures of all these people. Look at and then the one coming too, the Feudin' Hillbillies. The Feudin' apostrophe.
No G. Yeah.
Hillbillies.
And they're pointing at the middle guy. He's the hillbilly.
He's the one. We don't like him. He's no good. And then quickly, I found another thing for a free concert on the Hill night they have. And they have an advertisement for Gospel Night featuring St. Paul Missionary Baptist Church with Larry Crawford and the Mount Zion Baptist Church, which sounds like, this is going to be whatever. It says, bring blankets and chairs for hill seating, grab yourself a Billy hot dog, a cold beer, and stake out your favorite spot on the hill. I'm like, that's some church right there. This isn't like coming, everybody, people. Yeah. This is grab yourself some beer and some hot dogs, and we're going to sing about Jesus. Let's get on. Fuck it.
Let's do it in the fun way. Also, that's the part that's free. You mean to tell me it costs money to see the Feudin' Hillbillies?
You have to pay to see the Feudin' Hillbillies. You got to pay to find out.
For free.
You got to pay to find out who's wrong in that scenario. So
I got news for you. It's you if you paid.
That's right. You fucked up. You're the wrong one. So crime rate in this town, what we're interested in here, is about property crime is about 1/3 of the national average. So 2/3 under the national average. So very low. They don't steal your Amazon packages, as the review said.
Very honest people.
The review has proven out in these statistics. And then violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and, of course, assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime is under half of the national average. So
wow.
Pretty damn safe place, I got to say. It's just
Look at this.
Just like everybody says. It's not a lot to do after 10 p.m., but it's a safe place. So let's talk about a murder.
Oh, I can't wait.
Being that it's so safe, we kind of have to talk about a murder. So... Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Let's do this.
It wasn't safe for.
Some people it definitely wasn't safe for. Let us go back to September 29th, 1996. Okay, so not too far back.
No.
These people, a couple of them even have cell phones. I'm sure.
Sure.
There's no like internet on them.
They're smidge heavy, but
barely an internet. But if you needed to get a hold of them for $6 a minute, you could do it. Remember the car phones that people would have like mounted in the car?
Right.
That were literally like $4.80 a minute. If you went to touch it, people were like, don't touch that. It's $4.80. It's like, why do you have it in your car?
If it comes off the hook, they start charging me. Stop it.
Why do you have it in your car? Like, what emergency could possibly happen that you don't want to? So anyway, this is a Sunday afternoon. It's a late September, but it's warm. It's a warm late September. So anytime back east or in the Midwest, when you get kind of that late summer, early fall, nice weather, people are they're outside soaking it in because they know, especially in central Illinois, that's not going to last.
This is the last of it.
It's going to change like that, and it's going to be windy and cold and shitty, and it's not going to be anything like this very soon. So it's Lake Shelbyville here nearby. Mm-hmm. Lake Shelbyville, about 3:30 p.m. Okay, nice people are out. Fishing. They're just fishing. A man and his wife. Yeah, just hanging out, fishing. It is who is it here? Seabaugh is his name, and his wife Sherry. So his last name is Seabaugh, and his wife Sherry are out fishing in a boat. Okay. On it's like a small lake, very, very nice, idyllic. Getting that last thing in here. It's near Finley Marina, just off of Finley Marina. They see near the shore in about 2 inches of water. They see a gray plastic trash bag over there.
Yeah, that
looks kind of weird.
Yeah, fire up the motor and let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, exactly. They go, no, let's go look at it.
Right.
You going to look at anything in a plastic trash bag in a fucking lake that you find floating?
Whatever's in there is now yours.
I'm not responsible for that. No, I don't want to know about it. Nothing. So instead, they go over and take a peek at it here for some reason. And Sherry calls the sheriff's department when they all go back to where the bag first was. That's about 1 mile from the Coal Shaft Bridge and about 3/4 of a mile from the Finley Marina, if you're from that area. So Jeff Thomas, the chief deputy with the county sheriff's department here, meets Tracy and Sherry Seabaugh, the Fisher people here. Mm-hmm. The area where the plastic bag was found was difficult to get to without a boat. There's a lot of, grown in and shit. So that time of year, too, everything's grown in from the summer. Yeah. There's no trail. You're not getting through that shit. Pricker bushes.
Summer rains. Everything's big. It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. It's a nice time of year there. So they say you really had to get there with a boat, and there was no footprint seen on the shoreline. Okay. So they think that anything here had to kind of either wash up over here or be taken by boat.
No one in the water somewhere else.
Yeah, nobody just walked out there and put it in 2 inches of water, walked away. So Deputy Thomas here, he cuts into the plastic bag and discovers a human head.
Yeah, of course he did.
Just a severed head in a bag.
Uh-huh. Yep.
That's
just the head.
Just a head in a bag, like there's a bowling ball in there, just double wrapped in gray plastic trash bag with duct tape around it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's
it's circular. Anybody want to guess what it is?
That's what
you're
I mean.
Probably right.
And it's floating, or it's washed up on shore, and it looks like someone threw it out on purpose and duct taped it up. Want to guess?
Nobody throws a basketball away like this.
Nope. And the woman who found it, Sherry Seaboss, said it felt like a head when they went up and like pushed on it. They were like, that feels like a head. Let's call the cops. That's why they did it.
She's a horrifying woman. She knows what that feels like.
Yeah, can you imagine? I'm not poking and prodding either.
Nope.
That's crazy. So, but they do. So, thankfully for this person's family, they do, because now they're found. But he cuts in, discovers a human head. Says he doesn't touch the head, nor does he remove it from the bag. Cuts it open, sees it's a head, goes, holy shit, this is evidence, obviously, of something.
Holy shit, this is for a coroner.
Yeah, puts it, he calls the coroner immediately.
Yeah.
And crime scene and all that shit, the texts come, and it's overrun immediately. You find a head, that tends to bring the attention out.
It's a problem.
If you find a whole body, it's a lot of attention. But if it's a head, people are like, holy shit.
Seems like it should be more attention because we got to find the rest.
We have to find the rest, and B, whoever killed this person took their fucking head off. That's pretty dangerous. This wasn't an accident, This wasn't a suicide. They couldn't have cut their head off, wrapped it twice in a plastic bag, and then duct taped it. That would have been really difficult. So Deputy Thomas gets the coroner there. Everybody arrives about 45 minutes later. Turns into a mob scene down there. Mm-hmm. Officer Joe Seiferman, who will come back into the story a bunch of times, he was called out there where he was met by Deputy Thomas. They process the scene, and the head is transferred to the local funeral home where it's kept in the embalming room.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if you find a head and not the rest of shit, where does the head go? That's apparent. It goes to a funeral home where they keep it in the embalming room because they have one of those. I hope
it doesn't just go to like the evidence locker at the police station. That's a good place for it to be.
I was seriously wondering where it is. Do you just put it in a morgue drawer by itself, just a head?
Yeah, what do you do? Yeah.
What do you do with a head? So there you go. So if you work in a funeral home, you might get a head coming in one of these days. Just, we got this. Be careful.
That's all we got. We'll find the rest.
We'll find it. Don't worry. We'll put it back together again here. So Seiferman observed cinders and vegetation stuck in the hair.
Oh.
So
that's a good clue.
So he takes these items out with a, tweezer and puts them and places them into an evidence bag.
Sure.
Seems like that makes sense. The head, like I said, was in 2 plastic bags. The outer bag was closed with duct tape, and the inner bag was tied by a knot. Mm-hmm. So very on purpose. Now, Greg Rowe, that's hilarious because that's that guy's name, and Stevie. That's the guy who... Stevie, the documentary, I believe that is the I'm running the Aryan Brotherhood around here. I believe that guy's name is Greg Rowe. I'm almost positive it is. And this is literally the same area. It is literally Central Illinois. That's fucking funny.
I want it to be him.
I do too, but I don't think it is because this is literally the same time Stevie was being filmed.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think he was a conservation police officer at that point. If he was, God help everybody there because, wow, what a psychopath. So he participated in a search of the lake that took place the next day on Monday morning. Rowe finds a bag floating near the shore in a cove northeast of Finley Marina. He doesn't touch the bag, but he calls state police investigators. The bag contains 2 hands.
Okay.
Just 2 hands.
We're getting there, but not near fast enough.
No, a head and 2 hands is like
2 discoveries, not even half a body. That's terrible.
And that's like how Russian mobsters kill people to ID them. Remember in The Wire? Did he have a head?
You put those
Does he have
there,
hands?
And then the body is somewhere else.
Yeah, usually, but not here though. There's other stuff here.
All right.
So that is
fucking. If it have hands, then it is not mine.
Then it's not that. Then it's not us. Yeah. So the county sheriff Kendall and another county sheriff here from another county ended up finding a plastic bag near against a tree trunk near the east shore, about 1 mile north of Finley Bridge. This bag contained the right chest area and a right upper arm.
Oh my God, that's so much sectioning.
This is fucking bad, man. This is rough. This is they searched more people. They kept searching the east shore where the bags were found. They walked north of that area and discovered another bag. This was they found a body part that's not in a bag.
Oh no.
They find a left thigh that was outside a plastic bag.
Oh God.
So they kept
Is the bag
searching.
there, or is it just no bag?
There's no bag.
Just a body piece.
Just a left thigh laying on the shore, by the shore. So they continue north because that seems to be the trail of you have to follow a trail of body parts. Knowing, and this is the fucked up part, as you're doing this, I'm sure if you're an investigator, you're hoping you find more, but at the same time, as a human, you're like, Jesus Christ, I'd hope we don't find any more.
I don't want to see more of this.
But you know you're going to find more as you're going. Like, you know there's more. This is clearly where the body was left.
At first, it's like every trash bag you see, you're like, fuck, I got to do it again. And then, little wild card, no trash bag, surprise, it's just a thigh.
Just a thigh. Just a thigh laying there. They continued north and found another plastic bag, this containing 2 feet.
Okay.
Just 2 feet.
We're almost done.
This is fucked up, man. So a crime scene tech with the Illinois State Police collected the plastic bags here and turned them over to the coroner. The officer also looked around the bridge, Findlay Bridge it is, to find anything suspicious. He found what appeared to be blood on the north rail of the Findlay Bridge. He collected the evidence with, the cotton swab and all that. He also noticed a white mark and a reddish-brown stain near the area of the blood stain. So they said there was a possibility that was made by a car, though. That's why he was collecting it. They didn't know. But they're collecting everything here. So, wow. Yeah, that's crazy. That Sherry Seabaugh said, I thought I felt a human head inside. That was her quote to the newspaper. Jesus Christ. So, man. So let's examine this. It's a young female. That's what they can tell. It's
it's the same person?
It's all the same person.
Thank
young
God.
Female. She's been shot 7 times in the head with a small caliber round.
That's too much.
And dismembered, obviously.
You got to do that.
Dismembered with some kind of power saw, they believe. That seems to be a popular choice for the dismemberment class, whenever we're talking about this shit. So a pathologist that performed the autopsy here, through dental records, they identify who it is. It's a 23-year-old local woman named Karen Slover. And we'll talk about her in a minute. She's a mother of a 3-year-old boy.
Oh, no.
And we'll talk all about her. So somebody was really, really intent on making her disappear, clearly, because...
Very mad at her.
Very mad at her and very much not wanting her to get found, at least in a hole. So he conducts the autopsy, this guy. He identified 7 gunshot wounds to the head as the cause of death. 6, it was 1 to the back of the head, and then 6 on the left side of the head.
So one, she went down, and she was clearly laying on her right.
Back of the head, falls down, bang, 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 just fucking, there you go.
So much.
That's a lot. That's a lot. And also, all the gunshots were from inches away.
Really?
So this wasn't like, this is all very calculated. This sounds like a Russian mob hit.
Yeah.
But you'd say, why would a Central Illinois, 23-year-old mother of 3 or mother of a 3-year-old who works at a newspaper be the subject of a mob hit? And it turns out she's not. But this is fucking bad, man. They brought a firearms expert in. He examined the bullet and bullet fragments in the case. Most of the fragments were too damaged for identification. At least 4 of the pieces were fired from a .22 caliber weapon here. The murder weapon could have been a .22 caliber rifle or a semi-automatic pistol or a revolver. They didn't know.
Okay. So 22 long rifle round.
Yeah, it's a .22 caliber deal here. The bullets could not have come from a .25 automatic. They ruled that out.
Okay.
So several pieces of evidence were collected here, including a partial pant leg from a jean, plastic bags, socks from the feet. The feet had socks on them, which is a strange thing to cut the feet off and leave the socks on. That almost seems like staging of some kind,
Yeah.
Like from a profile point of view. Duct tape used to close the bag, obviously. The belt and jeans from the waist area of the body, and some red underwear.
Okay.
Because they ended up finding most of all the rest of her later on here. Inside one of the bags that contained the hands and forearms of Karen, they also found a piece of broken concrete, obviously used to weigh it down. Another piece of concrete was found in the bag containing the right shoulder area of the victim, too. So they found that. And there's also a partial white sleeve found in this bag. But they said the problem with if you're going to weigh a body down with concrete, you can't, the gases will build up and it'll float back up to the top.
Right.
That's why they stab bodies before they dump them.
Okay.
They fucking, yeah. If you're like mob guys who do hits, know they have to fucking stab the shit out of a body before they dump it in the river, or else it's just going to float. Wow. So that's one of those weird things. I don't know if I should tell people that, probably, if you didn't know that already.
Now I do. God damn it.
You know too much, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Pictures of the hand showed that some of the fingernails were longer than others, and some appeared to have substances under the fingernails. The police decide against taking fingernail scrapings, though, because they say it does not seem like there was any kind of struggle based on the body, based on there's no bruising, there's no scratch, there's no like things like that.
Who gives a shit?
You scrape anyway. I agree with that.
I could give a fuck if it looks like. It doesn't look like it.
Well,
so?
Yeah. Let's not clog up the lab. Like we found this. We found her in pieces. Let's clog up the lab for this one, okay?
Yeah.
The hands did not show any signs of injury, indicating that there was no struggle. And he also said that he would not expect blood spatter to occur as the body was being cut, because blood stops flowing after death and coagulates within 5 to 10 minutes. Now, here's something that's this is a little sensitive here and rough. Sand was found inside of her vagina area there, vaginal
That's
area.
Crazy.
Murphy, the guy who examined her, explained that prior to rigor mortis setting in, the muscles of the body would relax, and this could explain how some of the sand could get in there. They said the sand entered prior to rigor mortis and then was trapped inside as it expanded in water, because they said she had a tampon as well, so that would be that.
No.
So that comes important later when there's a scientific battle over this. Okay. So they said there's also some skin irregularity on the bridge of the nose, which could have been a result of some trauma prior to the death. Irregularities around the eyes look like they were from after death, and 2 areas of discoloration behind the ear on the right mandible could indicate bruising and could be pre-trauma death. They're not sure. So the doctor said he believed it was a short time between death and dismemberment, anywhere from minutes to hours, but not days, basically. He said it was apparent that she died minutes after being shot, though. So the gunshot wounds did it, and they indicate that she was shot at a downward angle of about 30 to 45 degrees. So they got real scientific. Yeah. There's that, and investigation, obviously, they want to know what the fuck's going on here. This is, young mothers getting dismembered and thrown in a lake. Yeah. It's not good for overall. Dangerous. Seems bad for morale of everybody, especially for the, the qualified, caring leaders that you think they're the ones who are like, we got to figure this shit out now. I don't give a fuck. Figure it out.
It's also bad for the promo for the Feudin' Hillbillies and their concert series that's coming up.
That's true. They're like, geez, this is going to affect our ticket sales. Fuck.
There's a madman on the loose.
More than our terrible name. It's really going to hurt it. So the police say, we're trying to go back and reconstruct what took place in her life over the last few days to see if we can rule out people we don't need to be looking at. Okay. That makes sense. So it's like we said, Karen Hearn Slover is her name. Slover is her married name. Hearn is her maiden name. Mm-hmm. The town freaks the fuck out, to put it mildly. Yeah. They, as you saw the reviews, this is a place that's a quiet family, nothing going on after 10. This shit is not cool at all. It
doesn't happen here.
No. So they have to put a big thing out in the paper saying, though the police believe her murder was not a random act of violence, there's a whole bunch of things that it would be normal to fear for your safety right now. And there's a whole list of, whether you're in a car or walking, it's important to look around and be aware of who's around and what's going on. Literally, they put that in the paper.
That should calm you down in terms of like, this was obviously somebody that was near and dear to her, or, somebody familiar with her. That's even more scary. Because somebody didn't know that this person was like this, obviously.
Yep. Somebody's blending in.
Right. I'm terrified.
Somebody is blending. That is fucking scary. So, that's what they're telling us to do here. You quote, you have to protect yourself. If you have concerns about a situation, don't put yourself in harm's way. Well, no shit.
Yeah.
Now, she works for the Herald and Review newspaper in Decatur. Right. And they put up a $10,000 reward for any information on her.
How about that?
Yeah, she's apparently very beloved here. She works as an advertising consultant there. and she's worked there for a while. And the cops are really looking for her. They said there's a task force of 8 officers from 5 different law enforcement agencies, and they said it was not a random act of violence. That was a panel to decide whether it was a random act of violence or not. They literally had a panel. Quote, this panel, through our discussion, believes that this is not something the general public has to fear at this time. Well, thanks.
We had a meeting about it.
Yeah, the public should certainly be cautious, but we don't believe this is someone who just randomly selected her. Well, that's terrific. Good to fucking hear there. Now, a coworker here, because they talked to the coworkers, obviously, sure. They said that, quote, I find it beyond comprehension why someone would do this. It's a very, very sad day. We will walk through this together. We just have to take this 1 hour at a time. She was a very outgoing, very personable, very cheery person, said the editor of the paper. You couldn't help but get to know her and like her. Mm-hmm. That's what she was all about. She was supposed to show up to pick her son up from her in-laws' house after work and never showed up.
Yeah.
That's how it works. The police say there was 2 or 3 suspects or possible suspects or leads of people that they have contact with, that she's had contact with, and that they want to take polygraphs. So they're kind of calling people on the carpet here. We got about 3 people. Imagine if you're knowing her, you're like, am I one of those people? Fuck.
Right.
I don't want to take a polygraph. So they're looking at men who she's had relationships with or associations with her. Because generally, if she has a feud with a woman at work, they're not going to cut her body into 14 pieces and put her in the lake. Only a man who wants to fuck her is going to do that.
Yeah, you go off the supposits right out of the gate, obviously. And then when that starts thinning out, then I guess you go to the ladies?
I guess so, yeah. You're definitely going to look for a spurned lover of some kind or something like that first, though.
I love when they're like, nobody didn't like her. She was amazing. Everybody loved her. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody didn't, you dummy. What kind
Somebody put her head into 2 plastic bags. So
somebody that fucking adored her did this to her? Is that what you're saying?
Well, OJ did say he loved Nicole very, very much. He said, if I had done it, it would have only been because I loved her very, very much. That's literally what he said. So sick fucks apparently think that's a valid reason to kill somebody. Well, I loved her so much. I figured, if anyone had a right to kill her, it was me because I loved her so much. Jesus, ridiculous.
Protecting her from all the monsters out there.
Someone else was going to do it. They wouldn't have been as caring as me. So, they said no one has been ruled out as a suspect at this point. Everyone is a suspect. We haven't had time to rule anyone out. Everything is so fresh. We've been going 80 miles per hour on this all day. So they're ready to go here. They don't think it's connected to another case, because the press is really asking if they think it's connected to another case in Champaign County where a man posing as a sheriff's deputy attacked a woman.
Oh, my God.
In that case, he was wearing a uniform and driving a car with flashing red lights on it and stopped a woman in the morning of September 22nd and sexually assaulted her. So
that might be the worst person on earth, the person that does that shit.
That's a very, very, very scary person. That's a very scary person.
That person is the scum of the earth.
That person, yeah, that's bad shit right there. So in that case, yeah, they don't think it's connected to that. They're saying though, because they're only saying that because they found her car on the side of the road, pulled over. So they were like, well, that's interesting. So the press jumped to that conclusion, but they didn't think so. They said that would be a pretty quick progression in a week from a sexual assault and letting the woman go to literally dismembering somebody and wrapping them meticulously and throwing them in a fucking pond. It's a different thing. So
after taking them apart.
Yes, exactly. So that's with a power saw. So let's talk about the people here. Let's talk about Karen and find out what's up with her life here. Karen Hearn is her name. Karen Hearn's her maiden name. Karen Hearn Slover, and she goes by Karen Slover because she marries a man named Michael Slover Jr. Okay. And Jr. here, they marry on January 2nd, 1993. Karen was pregnant with a little boy. They got married.
Yep.
Her, you've been there and done that.
Been there as fuck.
And so, yeah. They have a son a little later on in 1993 named Colton, Kolten. They've picked a very creative way to spell it. And May 1996, they get a divorce. Okay. So that marriage, it was a pretty quick marriage, and it was a pretty rocky marriage. And It ended, I mean, that's pretty fast, obviously.
3 years and a baby later, and it's over.
It's over. So September, I mean, that's when they officially got a divorce. So, I mean, it was over longer before that. So,
boy.
September 27th, let's go back, because the Fisher people found her on Monday, or on Sunday, the 29th. This is Friday, the 27th. Let's go back to Karen Slover and her boyfriend, David Swan, with 2 N's. Yep. They wake up in the morning. They were sleeping in the same place. Well, stayed in the same place. They got up. They both took a shower. They've been dating for about a month, and Swan's got a background to him. He'd been previously convicted of a felony, and they believe it's aggravated battery he was convicted of. And he ended up that morning driving his company car to work, and Karen took his car to work. So she borrowed his car.
Okay.
It is a 1992 black Pontiac Bonneville with the license plate CADS7.
Okay.
So CADS 7.
It's got a custom plate?
Yeah, I think it's a custom plate, but I don't know what the hell that means.
I don't get it either. That's one of the ones that would drive you bananas.
It would. It probably stands for something. It's probably he only knows the fuck he's talking about. So those are really annoying. You're like, What are you doing? You don't see it. You don't see your plate to get satisfaction out of it because you're driving the car.
Around annoying everybody.
Yeah, you're just being a dick. That's all it is.
It means nothing.
Nothing.
Just have AQV 742, just like everybody else.
Who cares? Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I don't get the personalized plate. I don't get it. Relax. Calm down. You're not. What do you care?
Right.
It's a goddamn license plate. So she leaves in that car. She stops by her father's home around 8:30. He's got a home-based office, and she's on her way to a sales meeting in Springfield. So that's the paper's in Decatur, but she's got a sales meeting in Springfield. She stays there for about 45 minutes to an hour at her dad's place. She was wearing blue jeans and a white blouse, which are, partial part of that outfit is found later on.
Found some of that.
Yeah. She ends up going to work at the Herald and Review newspaper, 601 East William Street in Decatur. She's, like we said, an advertising consultant. David Swan, her boyfriend, sees her again around 1:20 p.m. in the Herald and Review parking lot. Swan that night was going to a dress rehearsal or a wedding dress rehearsal, whatever the fuck, dress rehearsals for a show, just a rehearsal. The wedding rehearsal he's going to. Rehearsal dinner, they call it? What the fuck? I don't know. So he's going to watch people rehearse a wedding.
It's the worst part of a wedding.
It's really stupid because everyone's in jeans and you're like, this is silly. What are we doing?
Right. This is just to appease the bride to let her know, we got it, honey. Don't worry. It'll be fine.
Don't worry. Everyone knows which direction to walk down the aisle. We got it.
We know which order. I know I have to walk with her. She's an asshole, but I'll do it for you.
But then again, if it was up to us, we would be picking flowers as we were going. We're like, just grab some out of the hotel's got a shitload. Just fucking pluck them and put them out on the tables. So there's got to be a happy medium is what I'm getting at.
There's a bougainvillea right there. Glue them together. It'll be fine.
There's got to be a happy medium between I don't give a shit and it has to be perfect. There has to be something in between those two things.
There's got to be a happy medium between I want everything and I don't care.
That's what I mean. I want everything and I want nothing. There has to be a happy medium between there, right?
There should be, but there's not.
I think me and Sarah found it. We just got married in the yard on a moment's notice. I think that's what we do.
The happy medium there was both people wanted nothing.
That's the thing. We were both, I want nothing. And I was like, I want nothing either. We were like, this is great.
I want nothing. I want less.
I want nothing either. We were going to go out to dinner with the family or something. We were like, we don't even want to do that. You don't want to do that. I don't want to do that either. Awesome. Let's get married in the yard.
It's like, we can just have a few people over. And you're like, do we have to have them over?
Yeah. How many people are we talking? So
you're gonna make me cook.
Jesus Christ, and I did. So they so did she. We all cooked, and you did too. So he was going there, and Karen was going to pick up her son, which is all her and Michael Jr.'s son Colton, and then go shopping for a dress to wear to the wedding. That's because she's going to go with him to the wedding, but not the wedding, not the rehearsal.
Got it.
So back at work here after they met in the parking lot. Alan Tapley is a guy's name. He owns Paris World.
What is that?
Want to guess what Paris World is? Just want to hear your guess.
Does he sell shit that's baguettes?
He's the world's leading beret distributor, Jimmy. It's It's amazing.
He just makes baguettes and calls it Paris World.
No, he actually runs a Savannah, Georgia modeling agency.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that sounds whatever.
Creepy.
So it would seek applicants through newspaper ads and then sign models and put their photos on the internet under their, whatever, and maybe get them some work. So Karen had sent in an application. She's a very pretty girl. She's blonde and pretty and, smiley.
Model.
She's very
Model
photogenic.
Too. Got it.
And she sent in an application and signed on with Paris World in July of that month, but hadn't gotten any jobs or anything like that. She just filled out the paperwork and, said, put me on the roster kind of a thing. So he indicated, though, that he found a job for Karen and called her office phone to tell her about it. Yeah. He found a job for her. So Karen ends up sending $92 along with a signed contract in for the job. Never trust any modeling place that wants you to pay money, first of all.
Right.
If they tell you go get headshots or go get professional pictures taken, but they're not going to tell you go to this person and give them money.
Right.
They just say then it's fine. But if they say give me money, then that's not a reputable place.
I found a job for you, James. It's a 9 to 5. It's like working for a temp agency, and they're like, this week you're going to work 9 to 5 down at the newspaper. You need to pay me $250. What? I didn't make any money.
What? I'm still here. What are you talking about?
Pay up front.
So, signed contract. The amount did not include a 10% discount that would be offered to models with whom Paris World had already secured work. So she should have got 10% off. Should have been $9 less. He said that the work he had for her would be only temporary, anywhere from 1 day to a month. That's what the call was about. So now Swan had to go. This is, I believe, around lunchtime, a little after lunch, after they met in the parking lot and shit. This is when she goes, right after she gets the call, she goes to drop off $92 in a signed contract in the mail. Right. So Swan had to go to Cerro Gordo, which is a town, and Karen went with him. They stopped by Karen's apartment to get some pictures to mail along with the contract.
Sure.
And then at 3:15 went to the post office and mailed the contract off to Paris World. So that's how that works. A co-worker of hers, Christine Quintez, she says that Karen got a phone call later on in the day. And she said that she appeared shaken after getting the phone call. Said she was in a really good mood between 2 and 3 p.m. And then, she wasn't in such a good mood after that. She said they went on a break at work. She's been back and forth from work a shitload of times today.
It's awesome.
This is a great job. I mean, she does a great job.
Sweet.
Go around to another town, mail shit. This is awesome. And they still say what a great worker she is. She must be awesome. She must be awesome at her job. That's good for her. So
takes her 2 hours to do what everybody else does in 8.
That's what I mean. She's fucking awesome at it, I guess, because they still love her. So as they returned to work from a break, her phone rang, and her friend heard Karen telling the person about the modeling job. At which point her friend returned to her desk. She said she could see Karen's face change during the phone call. She looked like she was scared and started to shake. Karen then walked by her friend's desk and mouthed the word Mike to her. So Mike is Michael Slover Jr., right, her ex-husband. So that's how that went on. Her friend said her eyes got really big. She looked scared. She was drained. She got white. That's what she said. Then she said she, quote, she walked away, and that was the last time I ever saw her. So that was that. So, David Swan receives a phone call from Karen at about 4:50 p.m., so 10 to 5. Karen said she's going to pick up Colton, going to go shopping. Swan said he's with a friend of his and put Karen on speakerphone, and they were talking to her. Swan here, her boyfriend, asked Karen to get him some hair gel while she's out shopping.
Yeah.
Pick me up some
LA
gel.
looks.
You gotta get it. Get the mega hold.
Yeah.
Get the 5.
The blue one.
So Karen calls her mom right after that, about 5 p.m., to tell her that she's going to pick up Colton and then go to the mall. So that's clearly the plan. She's telling multiple people that. So another woman, Athena Rich, worked at the Herald and Review as a sales rep. She saw Karen in the lunchroom at about 5 p.m. and asked if she wants to come out for drinks with the paper crew at the Lock, Stock, and Barrel Tavern. So that's where
that was a thing.
That's where they're going. Work party.
Right, work, going to have a drink.
What a fucking nightmare. Hey, I know we've all seen each other all day and been forced to. You want to spend more time together but not get paid for it? Yes.
It'll be free.
Awesome.
Matter of fact, it won't be free. It's going to cost you money because you're going to buy drinks.
Tell you what, send in $92 in a contract, and we'll all go get some drinks tonight at the Lock, Stock, and Barrel. So Karen said she couldn't because she had to pick up Colton and then go shopping, so can't do it. So 5:05 p.m., she leaves the office, and according to everybody's, what she's talked to, she's on her way to Mount Zion to her in-laws' house to pick up her 3-year-old son, Colton. Mm-hmm. So the Slovers, Michael Sr. and Jeanette, the mother and father, they watch Colton during the day, which is actually in the divorce agreement, which is an odd, they said it's an odd addition to it, but in the actual agreement, it was an uncontested divorce, but in the actual agreement, it says that Jeanette watches the kids until, 5 o'clock every day and blah, blah, blah.
That's one way to keep from having to have a discussion with somebody is just put it in there, and then you don't have to talk about it. It's done.
It's a
they're over there. You have custody.
Well, yeah, but that was, I guess, his doing. He wanted the baby. He wanted the kid to be watched by his parents during the day. For some, I don't know why, but that's what they wanted. So David Swan returns home after the wedding rehearsal. It's his hair is. We don't know if it's been gelled up or not. We have no idea. He discovers that Karen hadn't come to the house.
So not gelled.
Where the fuck? Yeah, where's my fucking gel? He's got non-shiny hair that's going to definitely be. It's going to be a problem if it's windy out. It's never going to stay in place.
It is dry. I need help.
It's all dry. It's not falling right. It's a 96 too. He could have had like a spiky look. He could have had like who knows what was going on with his head.
Yeah,
so,
that was a good time.
Yeah, gel. I mean, he could have had something.
Gel was booming in 96.
It's a good gel. It's a good time for gel. Tell you what, boy, 96 is prime gel time. You get yourself some
LA
gel.
CEO at a big old house.
Big old house right next door to the Drakkar Noir CEO, and they just ruined everybody's whole head.
Tommy Hilfiger, Ralph Lauren, we're all crushing it.
All on the same street. So
when Tommy Hilfiger opened his dumb mouth, and it all went south.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot Me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order Go to hero.co and use the code smalltownmurder at checkout. That's smalltownmurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover.
Yeah.
Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing.
No.
They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
The hell happened there? So Swan here, this is fucking wild here. Swan calls Donna Hearn, who is Karen's mom, between 9:30 and 9:45, saying that Karen didn't come home. He said he was concerned that Karen had not dropped off some hair gel she was supposed to buy at the mall, and thought that was odd of her. And she's like, well, you know, what the fuck's up with that? Like, you know, that's a weird thing. Have you heard from her? And imagine if he was like, where's my goddamn gel? I don't think that's what it was. I think he was like, she was supposed to drop off gel and she didn't. So I don't know, like, is she all right? I think that's kind of what he was getting at. But it would be hilarious if he called the mom like, fucking gel. So Donna here got the boyfriend Swan, David Swan, was concerned about the gel. So Donna, the mother, was not concerned when she was initially informed Karen didn't come home, because she said Karen's very active social life. She knows everybody, and it's not unusual for her to not be where she said she was going to be, basically. Right. She might have stopped here and talked to this person, and she'll be there a little later. And, you know, she's 23 and pretty. She's got a lot of people want to talk to her. That's just how it works. So she's got a lot of friends and, you know, whatever. So
she's got people in her personal life and then random-ass people.
Random people, work people, everybody likes her. She's a likable person, so she's got a lot of social engagement. Good for her, you know. So 9:57 p.m., here, the car that Karen was driving, a 1992 Pontiac Bonneville, is found on Interstate 72. It's running, and the driver's side door is open. Uh-oh. Which is not normal. That's strange. That's why the press immediately tied that together with the man who pulled people over with the fake police car there. So David Swan was called by police to be notified, because it's his car. They look through, and it's her purse is in the car. Personal effects are in the car, so they find the registration, see it's David Swan. They call him up and tell him that they found his car, and the motor running and no driver in it.
That's
so
a bad thing. That's horrible.
Yeah, that's bad. He said, well, my girlfriend had the car and she should be in it. She, you know, shouldn't be on the side of the road running. So after receiving 2 phone calls from David Swan, Larry Hearn, her father, called Jeanette Slover, the mother-in-law who's watching Colton, to tell her that Karen and Colton were missing. But Jeanette said that Colton was with her. Karen never picked Colton up. So Colton's not missing. If Karen's missing, that's one. But so obviously that's, you know, scary, but a relief that the kid's not missing too, obviously. Right. So the Hearns, Karen's parents, go to where the car was found. And there's a police dog on the scene and all that sort of shit. Prior to this trip, around 10:30 p.m., Larry Hearn received a call from Michael Slover Jr. that lasted about 1 minute, and Hearn didn't remember the call, but the records show that the call was made. So in the craziness of, we have to go there where our daughter's missing, they didn't remember this call. So phone records show that at 10:02 p.m., a call was placed from the residence of David Swan to Larry Hearn. That lasted 49 seconds. And then Swan called Larry Hearn again at 10:09, and that lasted 48 seconds.
This guy's the best. He's so what's the word? He's just very
Involved?
good at making phone calls. He's very succinct.
He's just very good at making phone calls. The
48 seconds to get whatever it is off his chest, get his
fingers
information, hang it up.
He's very succinct. He gets everything out in one fucking...
He's very good at phone calls. I got people that call me, and I'm 8 minutes in, and I'm like, why the fuck are you calling me?
That's not 48 seconds. He's a good friend, this guy.
Boy, he's good.
Problem
Very
is,
respectful of your time.
he's only been going out with her a month, and all of these callings back and forth, and he'll talk to the police extra later, gets the police suspicious that he's inserting himself into the investigation, which is one of the first things they look for.
Even with an efficient phone call.
Yeah, they're like, he was efficient, but he still was talking about it. So, And then Jeanette Slover, Michael's Jr.'s mom, receives a phone call from Karen's father saying that the car had been found on the interstate and Karen is indeed missing. So that was after the kid call. So Jeanette called Michael Jr. at work. He's a bouncer at a bar at night and told him that Karen was missing. So approximately 10:15 p.m., Sherry Chandler answered the phone at the bar she works at. And the person said, this is Jeanette, Mike's mother. Can you talk to him? I need to talk to him. It's urgent. Junior takes the cordless phone outside the front door, and they talked. He remained outside for 45 minutes with the phone, which it's a business. Bring the phone back when you're done. Anyway,
it's a long call.
It's a long call, but short. Let's more than 4. She's not as efficient as David Swan.
No,
took her 45 minutes to get that out.
Right.
Shortly after 11, Junior went to the back room of the bar. They said his eyes were red, and the bartender asked him what was wrong, and he told her that his mother told her that Karen's car had been found on the highway and her purse was in the car, but she wasn't. So she said that this is the woman running the bar. She said she gave him time to gather himself, but didn't let him leave because she had no one else to cover the front door. Hi, the mother of my 3-year-old has just disappeared. Her car's running. It's very suspicious circumstances. We're worried for her safety. Well, I got to check IDs. I'm sorry. I don't know what the... You couldn't deputize one of the patrons that you know
Your relief
well?
comes in 2 hours, so I don't know what to tell you, sir.
Couldn't grab someone off the floor and throw 50 in their pocket to stand there for a while? You had to tell this guy, sorry, asshole. That's fucking hilarious. So, wow. He went back to work and stood at the door.
I got to check IDs.
Plus, a sobbing bouncer isn't exactly that intimidating.
No, that's true, too.
You have to leave, sir. I'm sorry. We can't serve you anymore. Fuck you. Come on. So at 10:30 p.m., Gary Schaefer, the chief of police for Cerro Gordo, went to Ronnie's Tavern, where Junior worked, saw Junior sitting inside the door. Junior told Schaefer that his ex-wife was missing and her car had been found on the interstate. Junior was aware that this guy was a police officer. He remained at the front door until 1:55 a.m. when the place closed. Jesus Christ. Nope, sorry. Someone can come in. It's 1:45. Ain't closing yet. That's amazing. Then he received a phone call from a male. He had about a 10-minute conversation within 8 feet of the bartender, Chandler. Junior left about 2 minutes after the conversation was over, and his car was at the same place it was when he arrived. So he left but didn't take his car. Mm-hmm. It still was there. So another waitress, Lisa Carnahan at Ronnie's, started work at 8 o'clock, and she said shortly after 10, Carnahan worked the door while Junior took a phone call. She couldn't fucking fill in the rest of the time. What is happening in this place? He seemed upset and had been crying and all that sort of thing. She said she worked the door 4 or 5 times that night and never noticed a difference in his clothing or appearance besides the time that he was crying. His girlfriend, I don't know.
The part where he was sobbing uncontrollably.
He was normal except for sobbing. If you ever seen a grown man cry in a public place, he's just
Everything
like that.
Else look normal.
You know, otherwise normal completely. Slover Jr.'s girlfriend, Trina Gifford, she says that Junior got home around 3 a.m. So he left at 1:55, gets home at 3 a.m. What's he doing? There's nothing to do past 10 o'clock. We've already covered that. Why do you think I picked those fucking reviews to say? So we know there's nothing to do past 10. What's he doing?
An hour and 15 minutes of driving around?
I don't think so. It's not that far. So Saturday, September 28th, that's when he got home. That's Saturday morning. She said his demeanor had changed by that time and that he was upset. He told her that Karen was missing and that he'd been notified of this fact by her family. At another point, she said that she didn't recall if Junior had heard from his mother about the disappearance or if she'd heard it from Karen's brother. So that's a little point of contention here. Junior, they send a sheriff's department deputy to his house at 2:55 a.m. and informed Junior that he needed to contact an investigator with the sheriff's department because they'd like to talk to him, because he's the ex-husband. He answered the door to his home. He seemed visibly upset. The sergeant thought he prepared a report that noted Junior appeared to be upset and crying, but he didn't think it was sincere. So that's what he says. Now, investigation picks up here. Now, the car, David Swan goes to where the car was found and was asked to look inside the car to see if he noticed anything unusual. Yeah. He said the car was in disarray with several items moved from their normal place. The garage door opener was found near the driver's door, but is normally on the visor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's weird.
That's rare to get off the visor at all.
Exactly. Why would you take it off? Unless you're changing the battery. There's no once every 7 years. Outside
the sun's
of that,
in your eyes, and you
flip
it down, and the goddamn thing falls off because that fucking tin
clip
never stays strong.
What
is
shit
that?
Clip? Yeah, get a strong clip. Well, I guess
figure
then
that shit out, Craftsman.
Mess it all up,
bastards.
Or cars have a garage door opener slot for them. Maybe that
they have them built into the cars now. The new ones.
Yeah.
But I'm real dumb. I wouldn't be able to program that shit anyway.
I'm not programming my car to open my fucking garage door.
An opener's fucking owner's manual.
So what if I have to loan it, give it to someone or watch in my house, or if I go out of town, I got the dogs. What am I supposed to? No, I'm not doing that. So, kiss my ass. Make a slot I can put it in, please.
Right.
So the garage door opener's there. A cup and some change were found in the passenger seat, but the cup had been in the cup holder and the change was normally in the console. Which is strange, but it's all there. Also, David Swan's umbrella and Karen's briefcase have been moved from the back seat to the floorboard, which if she stopped short, that could have happened there.
Sure.
But if she stopped short, if she stopped short, it wouldn't make a cup and some change go from the console and the cup holder to the passenger seat. That would be different. So Sifferman again, crime scene tech with the Illinois State Police. He's called here a little before 11 p.m. He takes a bunch of pictures and tows the car away. A black purse and maroon planner were taken from the passenger floorboard. Some small black rocks or cinders were removed from the driver's side floorboard.
Oh.
Yes, interesting. Officer Sifferman took latent prints from the interior of the window of the driver's side of the car. Inside the leather business portfolio, Sifferman found a fax cover sheet from Paris World International and a postal receipt to Paris International from Karen Slover, 3:14 p.m. That's labeled. That's her sheet there. So they're like, there's another suspect. Okay.
Yeah. And a specific time.
Yeah, exactly a time. We know she was alive then. So she's been seen a little bit. Two witnesses said they saw a woman they identified as Karen Slover in Lovington between 5:30 and 6:30 p.m. on the night she disappeared. Another witness reported seeing the car that she drove that day, the four-door Pontiac with the CAD 7 license plate, which stands out, in Cerro Gordo between 5:45 and 6 p.m. And Lovington and Cerro Gordo are 20 miles apart. Okay. So, I mean, I guess if one was 5:30 and one was 6, I don't know. Maybe it's possible.
Yeah, I hate sightings.
Exactly.
That's the worst.
Now, Lisa Kidwell, who formerly owned a restaurant in Lovington here, she said a woman she identified as Karen Slover came in and bought an ice cream cone between 5:30 and 6 p.m. that night. So she actually didn't just see her in a car. She sold her an ice cream cone, so she'd be able to identify her. She said she remembered seeing the CAD 7 license plate on the car that she was driving too. So those two together I can believe.
Sure.
Later on, she couldn't describe what she was wearing, though, what Karen was wearing, and she acknowledged that she never met her before. And other than the plate, she said she could only recall the car was driven by a woman. By the woman, she said the car was dark colored. She couldn't remember colors of anything, but she remembered Karen.
Oh, dark.
Which, I mean, she didn't talk to the car. She talked to Karen, so some people remember that more. Sharon Nichols, she worked at the grocery store across the street from the restaurant. She says that a woman she identified as Slover bought a pack of chewing gum there between 6 and 6:30 p.m. She also couldn't remember what she was wearing, but she identified her. So right across the street, same time. So that makes sense. Two different people. They also testified to seeing a greenish vehicle, someone else did, in Cerro Gordo between 5:45 and 6 p.m. One witness couldn't see who was in the vehicle. She said she saw the car stop in the parking lot of the IGA grocery store with a short man, and a short man with brown hair and a mustache got out. Another witness, James Theus, he said that he was traveling on I-72 when the night that she disappeared, and he saw two cars traveling at high speed. He said it happened about 9 p.m. near exit 172. He said that, near exit 172. He said that the cars were almost bumper to bumper when they passed him, traveling about 90 miles an hour.
Wow.
So they're either racing or on each other's ass or chasing or
racing
something.
Racing
or chasing. Ask grass or fucking gas. Sorry, that made me laugh. He remembered the letters CADS from the license plate, but said the vehicle with the plate was light colored. But it's nighttime. So,
right. Yeah.
And if that's the lead car, and it was, the car behind that person at nighttime.
That's the one that gets your attention.
Well, the headlights on the back of that car, you can't tell what a color a car is at night with light on it. It just doesn't. It doesn't show properly.
Right.
It just doesn't.
Not just headlights, but any lights at night, because they're all tinted some weird color. I saw some documentary about a truck that the guy got away for a long time because everybody thought he was driving a pink truck. It was fucking white.
Yeah,
and it just looked pink by the witnesses because of the way the street lights are.
Wasn't that an episode? That was one of our episodes.
Was it?
Yeah, I think that was Small Town. I think that was Small Town Murder, man. I think that was, your job. I'm pretty sure. But I don't remember the exact thing, but I think that was from that.
There was a story I heard once about...
I heard a story once. It's
about
awesome.
this murder. I doubt it had anything to do with this.
No, I'm sure it doesn't. But I think that was it, because it was the way the street light hit it at night.
Yeah.
Is what it was. Yeah, I remember that too.
It was one of these.
Did we see that together? No, we talked about it for 2.5 hours.
I don't know why I would remember this, James. It just stuck in my head about a murder somewhere.
You know how it is. So two cars 90 miles an hour at little before the time the car is discovered. That's something. Another witness, David Reekwarth, he said that he saw a vehicle with the CADS license plate on I-72. His sighting was around 8:10 p.m. It was in the eastbound rest area near Argenta. He said he couldn't see inside the dark-colored vehicle, and no one got out while he was there. A co-worker of hers said that she saw Karen in the parking lot of the Herald and Review leaning over and apparently talking to someone in a vehicle before she took off from that night at 5:05 p.m. She said she couldn't say for sure when she saw her near the car, but she thought it was after work. But it might have been at lunch when she was talking to David. We don't know that for sure.
Does Karen start with a C?
Karyn.
Okay. All right.
So it's got a Y. It wasn't a normal
I'm changing
spelling.
my mind about CADS at the moment, just because it has saved and helped so much already.
That's one thing about the personalized plate.
Yeah, a shitty, stupid plate like that. People sit in their car and go, "Did you see that dumbass plate? They were driving 90 miles an hour. Who cares? What the fuck does CADS mean?"
You see it. It's true, man. Also, people heard some gunshots. One witness got up and took her dog for a walk, which lasted about 20 minutes. It was a quiet evening, and sometime during the walk, this witness heard several distinctive popping noises. She described them as rhythmic, just consecutive and in a rhythm. She was not familiar with the sound of a handgun, but the sounds she heard were different than the sound of a shotgun during hunting season is all she knew, the ones that she hears out in the woods. Yeah. She contacted police 2 weeks after the Slover's disappearance to report the story to them. Florence Keller lived in Cerro Gordo. There's a car wash, railroad tracks, and a wooded area located to the north of her house. During the Jenny Jones show that she was watching, which aired for an hour.
Very 96.
Very 96. This whole thing. She's all hair gelled up watching the Jenny Jones show. It airs immediately after the 10 o'clock news. She heard 4 pops. is what she heard. Her bedroom window was open, and she said she heard the first pop and then 3 more consecutive pops. She said she heard the gunshots. She's heard gunshots from a .357, a .22, and a .38, but the pops she heard that night sounded like they came from a smaller caliber gun. Mm-hmm. She has some expertise here.
That's a horrifying woman.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. She's like, that's a .22. That's pretty badass. So
she's like the kids from that Keanu Reeves movie where they hear the shots and they go 9mm.
Yeah, she's badass, dude. She's watching Jenny Jones.
Yeah.
Over the din of Jenny Jones.
Right.
She hears some pop. She's like, that's a .22. That ain't shit. And then she goes back to Jenny Jones. I like this lady.
Some kids are shooting squirrels, I think.
Fucking pains in the asses. Don't shoot each other. All right, back to Jenny Jones.
Bitches.
Let's see her try to get some people together and fail. Okay. After hearing the pop, she looked out the window, and approximately 20 yards away, she saw 2 individuals coming through the woods on a path located along her neighbor's house. They were wearing dark clothing and walked south out of the wooded area toward the road. One was heavy set and the other was a little taller, about 5'8" to 6 foot, and not as heavy. She was several days later. Law enforcement interviewed her, and she told them of her observations. That's how that went. Now, the police immediately are looking at David Swan. Uh-huh. He's only been around for a month. Yeah. So if you have the 2, she's known Michael Slover for years. He's never killed her.
Right.
Basically, she's been alive the whole time. This guy's known her a month, and now she's dead. So they're concerned with him. But she also has an ex-boyfriend before him as well. God. So they're going to see here. Because she's 23. She's dating. You know what I mean? So her boyfriend said they look at her. He had some, like we said, some legal problems. By the way, one of them was for impersonating a law officer, which that's not cool. He also had a felony conviction for aggravated battery. Now, David couldn't account for his whereabouts for 45 minutes on the day of the murder. There's a 45-minute window where he can't prove where he is. He'd been late to the rehearsal dinner when they talked to everybody, and he was slated to be the best man.
Oh.
So if the best man is late to the rehearsal dinner, there's something up there. It was
calm down. I know what I'm doing. I stand there and look like an asshole, try not to lock my knees and pass out.
So this part, I just stand there, right? This part's kind of you guys doing everything. I don't really do anything. Are we rehearsing the
just
toast?
Just point to me when it's my turn to pretend like I lost the ring. How's that?
That's all.
Sound good?
The rehearsal dinner was at Tater's Family Grill.
Yeah.
So that sounds good. Police interrogated him for 4 hours while trying to get an alibi out of him or something, till he finally mentioned that he went over everything again, and he goes, I stopped to get money. I remember I stopped to get money. There's that. Yeah. They're like, yeah, right. But then they found the bank had video footage of him getting money nowhere near that and on the way to his rehearsal dinner.
That's very helpful.
His story completely checks out. He's with other people. Then he's at the ATM. Then he's at the rehearsal dinner. There's no in between there. So Donna, Karen's mother, said she talked to her daughter the day she disappeared about planning to pick up her son and all that. Michael Jr., they look at him now. He works. He's at Cub Foods is where he works on East Pershing Road. And after he finished his shift as a security guard about 6 p.m., he gave a private karate lesson at a home on Tanager Drive. The look on your face right now.
I don't like him.
A private karate lesson. Is there anything douchier than a private karate lesson? I don't know why that's douchey. If it was any other lesson, I don't know why, but a private karate lesson just... It seems silly.
This is far too post-Karate Kid to be still in the karate thing.
Yeah, this is 96. Karate was like not a thing. No. This is weird. So after leaving there about 6:45 p.m., he stopped at a car accident and talked to a police officer. Just stopped while there was a car accident, went up and talked to the cop.
What happened? What do you think?
It's not even. It's just he just talked to him. Just like, how's it going? Good. Yeah, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Just to be like, you see me, right?
Yeah.
That's what they're thinking
Happy
here.
Sunday fun day, officer.
You know how it works there. It was Friday night. So either way, he then said that he told the cops he went home for a quick shower and was at Ronnie's Lounge just after 8 p.m. for his job as a bouncer. He didn't get off work there till 2, and we know what happened there. Yeah. Co-workers, the family he taught karate to, and the police officer all verified everything he said, But the woman he lived with at the time did not remember seeing him home that night around 7. So she doesn't remember him being home to take a shower and all that. So also the parents who had Colton, they look at them. Michael Slover Jr. said he was with his girlfriend, like we said. Lisa Smothers, who was an employee at Cub Foods, she works the time clock, I guess. She's in charge of that. She said that employees would scan their time card and a computer would collect the info. Her job was to collect, take it all, make sure the people clocked in and out correctly, and she's doing the payroll.
Yeah.
So she saw Junior here at Cub Foods at about 4:30 p.m. on Friday. In her office, they spoke for about 10 minutes. He forgot to clock in after his afternoon break and had come to let her know. Yeah. So she fixed the problem on his time card.
Right.
So she just entered in manually when he came in. Yeah. She was shown a printout of the timekeeping system for those days, and I guess he said he clocked in at 12:09, which made him late for his shift, and he clocked out at 3:24 p.m., clocked back in at 3:39 p.m., and then he added 3:39. She added the 3:39 punch in to fix a mistake he made when he forgot to clock in after his break. So he clocked out at 3:24 p.m. and then came back much later. And
so
didn't have
to clock back in. Yeah,
forgot to clock back in. But at that time, she was still at work. She was seen at work till 5:05. So that doesn't work here. So she said she could vouch for his presence at 3:39, but she could not account for his presence until 4:30 when she saw him. And she also noticed that Junior had a shoplifter in his office around 5 p.m. So she says that there was nothing unusual about his behavior. It was common for him to forget to clock in or out. That week alone, she made corrections for him on 2 other days. So he's just a flake with that shit.
She is not good with time.
Yeah. Now, his parents were either together or alone for the whole basically late evening and afternoon, works. Especially when they're babysitting a 3-year-old. They're not going to go have parties. Each of them talked about going on a trip to Kmart, where Slover Sr. said he bought a certain Play-Doh set that Kmart said they didn't sell. So that's an interesting thing there. Michael Slover Jr. was the last person, he talks to everybody here. Another person here is Michael Mannix. He's a retired Illinois State Police officer. He led the investigation. Well, later on, he's retired, obviously. He talks about he's an expert on grasses, and we'll get to that. Another guy they talked to here is Karen's former father-in-law, Slover Sr. They said that he cried 2 or 3 times, and he prayed for Karen when she was missing. That's when the police talked to him. Yeah. The police officer that talked to him said that he gave details of his activity in the days after Karen disappeared, and he said that he and his son drove to Piatt County on September 30th for an interview with the sheriff's deputies, and Senior told the cop that during the trip, Jeanette called him to tell him Karen's body had been found. So that's how that
Karen
worked.
has no shortage of people that could kill her. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's very dangerous. She told her friends many times that she had to physically pull her son away. This is Karen I'm talking about. Had to physically pull Colton away from the Slover family when she picked him up. On one occasion, Jeanette Slover reportedly said, "Colton, don't worry. One day you'll be all mine." Is what an ex-boyfriend said that was there with her. When her boyfriend asked why she kept taking her son to the in-laws, Karen said she was in fear of them and didn't want to cross them, basically. And it was in the divorce agreement, and it was just easier to do it this way.
Got it, yeah.
So I guess a bunch of people knew that Karen and Jeanette got into an argument over placing the boy in an all-day preschool 3 days a week. Jeanette, apparently, that was like in the month before the death. Jeanette said, though, they worked out their differences over the disagreement, and it was fine. So also, she had another kid with her, Jeanette did. She was babysitting Colton and another kid named Clayton, and his mother came to pick him up around 5:20 p.m., but usually that's when the mother usually came, but the other kid's mother came early that day, and she was there, and nothing was unusual about anybody's demeanor or anything like that. A guy named Keith Wiggle, these people's names, Keith Wiggle lived next door to Senior and Jeanette Slover.
Yeah.
And his son was born at 5:50 a.m. that morning, and he didn't get home from the hospital till 3 or 3:30 in the afternoon. He laid down to take a nap about 5:30 or 6 p.m., and he got a phone call from Jeanette asking about the baby. Following the phone call, he took a shower, went back to the hospital, and then came back at about 11 and went to bed. He said nothing was going on unusual around the house or anything like that. So that's normal. Senior tells them he works as a pipe insulator at the Clinton Powerhouse and also operates a car lot called Miracle Motors. He said he left for work at 5:30 a.m., got home from work at 4:30 or 5 p.m., and he said that Jeanette and Colton were there when he arrived, and that's that. So now, Mary Slover, this is Michael Jr.'s sister, okay? She does not like Karen, and she lets it be known. She told many of her coworkers that Karen was not a good mother and wished she would die of cancer or in a car accident.
Holy shit.
That's cold. She also... She admitted to saying later on to police that she hoped skin cancer would, quote, eat her face off.
My God.
Jesus Christ.
Why is she so mad?
Jealous much?
Yeah.
This pretty bitch. That's what she's saying. You
takes
know
her best asset, her goddamn face.
Oh, burn it off. Yeah, she's like a terrible ex-boyfriend or something. So,
can you imagine? Oh.
Yeah, October here comes around a couple days later, and police conduct a series of search warrants at Miracle Motors Automotive Dealership in Mount Zion, which is owned by Slover Sr. and Jeanette. They found apparently burn barrels. In some burn barrels, they found some buttons from jeans that were the same jeans that Karen Slover was wearing at the time of her death in a burn barrel.
Yeah, like
that's not
fly.
Yeah, exactly. It was a button. It was a very particular type of button fly that only one store around there sold. Uh-huh. They traced the button back to the manufacturer, back to the lot of jeans that were made over here, transferred to an Iowa warehouse, and then into this store. Like I went all the way down the rabbit hole with these fucking jeans. For an hour, I was reading about jeans from 1996 and the buttons that they use.
Like on a VSU.
Like an asshole. Like a complete asshole. I was doing that. That's what I felt like. I felt like that guy.
Yeah.
It's an Avia. Just goddamn it, somebody who fucking bought it. The most fascinating thing about that is that Richard Ramirez found the one pair of those in Los Angeles.
One goddamn shoe.
One pair of those got to Los Angeles, and how many stores sell shoes in LA?
Right,
1,000, 2,000. Who the fuck knows? He walked into the one store that had one pair of those that happened to be in his size. Even
not
what
even
are the odds
happened
of that?
To be in his size. Also in his price budget.
What are the odds of that?
What the fuck?
He was like, yeah, those. Oh, these happen to be the only pair in existence in the Western United States. Like, what the fuck? Maybe that's what the salesman told him. We have one pair of these. They're the only ones.
And $25.99. Pretty good deal.
Pretty
it's
good
not like
deal.
Bruno Molly's or some shit.
Yeah, exactly. We'll talk about all that in the Patreon episode. And I didn't mean to get
it's the only other person that got a rare set of shoes.
It's wild, man. I have black Supermans.
Yeah, but you don't kill anybody.
No, if I did, I would wear the black Supermans just because they'd be so distinctive. They're like, it's Filipino.
Yeah,
it's a Phillips shoe from the Philippines about a guy who played in the '80s and had a coke habit. This is
crazy. And it's missing half its sole. It's gotta
really
be
weird. Only James has those, and he was wearing a Tender Juicy Hot Dogs jersey. It's got to be him. So they also recovered some bone fragments from the property at the time, and they brought and also police brought a bone or a box of meat near the property where it was cut up for comparison purposes. None of the photographs, there's a bunch of photographs. There's a thing about the comparisons here. Now, there's a whole thing about photos that they argue about, whether they took photos of the burn barrel and they took photos of their experiment, but whether the photos should be in court later. It's crazy. So a lot of fighting about that here. So they search all of this. The search accounted to a mini archaeological dig, is what they called it in the paper here. It was the Herald and Review, by the way, that she worked at. Had a lot of great articles on this. So police shoveled 2-inch deep sections of dirt into buckets and then sifted them. So it's very controlled.
Yeah.
Because of a recent snowfall, they said it was like trying to sift mud pie. So investigators found, that's right when they found the metal button in the dirt, too. And so there's that. They had to get like this big flamethrower thing to melt the snow and soften the ground so they could dig. It's friggin' insane. So now they say we, as the time goes by, because we go into 1997, no arrests, still investigating and all this, the police say they've accumulated more than 2,400 leads in the case. 2,400 leads here. They said they learned that Michael Slover Jr. had a group of men who sold used cars on their own. He processed the paperwork and let them drive on his dealer plates in exchange for a $100 fee. So they did uncover like a little sleazy operation. Yeah. Slover Jr. was running out of there, but that's about it.
Park it in the McDonald's parking lot with the for sale sign on it.
Yeah.
That weird shit.
Yeah, you can use my dealer plate.
Right.
And also, there's abuse allegations here about Michael Slover Jr., physical and verbal abuse of his ex-wife here, and demeaning statements about her. Jill Scribner and Lori Lee Hall, who are friends of Slover, they said that the three were at Hall's trailer in late fall of 92 after a girls' night out. Just hanging in the trailer after a girls' night. That's very Sex in the City, I got to tell you right there. That's
Sex in the small town.
Sex in the Small Town. Was Sex in the City? I guess it's a couple years later, Sex in the City. It's mid-'90s, so I was trying to throw that in there. And they're trying to be glamorous.
Yeah.
But instead of like the stoop of your Greenwich Village brownstone, you're in your friend's
sitting
mobile
on a
home.
plywood set of stairs.
Yeah.
With a wrought iron rail.
Oh, baby. Well, the wrought iron, it's class if the wrought iron rail is there.
It's square tubing. We call it wrought iron.
At least it's not just two blocks on the ground to step on.
That's just some channel my uncle weld together. We call that wrought. It's rotten. That's why we call it wrought iron.
You know how that goes. We made 2 steps out of 3 cinder blocks if you just want to come on up there. Anyway, they said they were there, and they weren't married yet, Karen and Michael. Someone called on the phone, and then the three of them went in Karen Slover's car to the parking lot of Cub Foods, where Michael Jr. works. She dropped the 2 women off at the front door and then went to park the car on the side of the store. The 2 friends said they walked to the corner of the store to get a view of her car as she parked. She said that Karen parked her car next to the one they recognized as belonging to Michael Jr. He got out of his car, opened the driver's side door of Karen's car, reached inside, grabbed her by the neck, and pulled her from the car. Holy shit. They said he then threw her against the car door hard enough to make the car rock back and forth. Holy fuck. Jesus Christ. This is at his job. Are you kidding? Yeah. This is in the parking lot of his job. Who the shit beats their wife at work? That's insanity. Like, it's crazy to beat your wife, but usually people do that shit in private. They're not like, fuck, I'll do it at the office. Hopefully my manager doesn't see this. Like, what the are you kidding me? So the 2 friends yelled and screamed and ran to them. Thank fuck. So Michael Jr. stopped and apologized for his actions and said that he'd never done anything like that before, and he was just so upset.
I believe
got a hold of him there. Yeah. So a few days later, Karen arrived for work at the JCPenney photo studio.
Yep.
I'm sure that job doesn't exist anymore.
No.
Where Scribner was also employed. And she said that Karen pulled back her hair to reveal yellowish bruises on her neck where Michael had grabbed her. Hard.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Another one of her friends, April Smith, said she was visiting Karen after her marriage. When Michael Slover Jr. arrived at the apartment they rented, she said Karen was pregnant at the time and showing. And from where she was seated on a living room couch, Smith said she could see directly into the bedroom where Slover Jr. asked Karen to go with him. She said she observed Slover Jr. push Karen onto the bed and get on top of her, pinning down her shoulders. Jesus Christ, of a pregnant woman.
Yeah.
Visibly. She said she could not hear what was said, and Michael Jr. soon left without speaking to her. Another friend, this is not stopping. This is like...
He does this at his job. Of course he does it in front of friends.
And that's what I mean. He does it at his job. He's got no shame whatsoever. Yeah. He's like the Bill Cosby of wife beating, this guy. It's got all sorts of coming out of the woodwork.
Just lets everybody see it, though.
That's what I mean. Yeah, except if he did it like on the set of the Cosby Show.
Felicia Rashad!
I'm going to drug and rape this young actress who's trying out for the show. Hold on. Elvin, get out of the room.
Watch this.
Theo Huxtable. Let me teach you how to rape. Fucking awful.
And somebody get Camille out here. She already knows.
Yeah, she knows.
But I want her to see.
We didn't mention pudding pops once. See?
No.
That's impressive. So they said, Rebecca Underwood said that during 1994 she planned to meet Michael and Karen Jr. at a fast food restaurant after they had visited a local club. Underwood said she arrived first and seated herself inside to wait. When the Slovers arrived, she had observed that Michael Slover Jr. was talking with Karen in the car, edging closer to her as Karen edged away. She said Michael Slover placed his hand on Karen Slover, and she got out, but also exited the car and got in front of her as she tried to enter the restaurant. So he was like blocking her. He then grabbed her by the left arm and swung his right hand across the face and hit her in the face with his right hand. She said Karen entered the restaurant while Michael got back in the car. She observed Karen had the imprint of fingers on her left cheek and her face was red. So, yeah, he smacked her. At a cookout held by mutual friends in October 1995, Underwood said she went into the house to get a glass of iced tea and walked into an argument between Karen and Michael Jr. Karen Slover was saying that she would leave him, and Michael Slover Jr. responded, "I'll kill you." So that's a nice deal.
No, you won't.
Then he noticed Underwood standing nearby, and he said, "I was only joking."
Yeah.
I wouldn't kill her. I'm just
so
kidding.
Funny.
That's how I joke around. She said, but then proceeded to tell Karen that if she left him, she would never see Colton again because he would use policemen, judges, and lawyers to make sure of that. That was the quote. But I won't kill you. I was just kidding about that. Right. Jesus. Sherry Chandler, who's the bartender at Ronnie's Lounge where she worked, said that he worked for about 2 years as a doorman there. The evening of Karen Slover's funeral, Michael Jr. and several friends were cheering shots, is the way she put it, raising their glasses and tapping them down. Yeah. They were cheering. She could have said that better. Cheering shots. They were giving toasts. Toasting. That'd be better. Her husband
drinking shots. I know what that means. Everybody knows what that means.
And drinking shots and toasting. That would have been a better way to put it.
Yeah. Cheering shots.
Her husband, Bill, said he visited Ronnie's 2 or 3 nights a week after he got off his second shift job at the factory, and he was there October 5th for about a half hour. He said he was standing 2 to 3 feet from the table when Michael Slover Jr. and his friends were celebrating. He heard Slover Jr. say, "That's one bitch I won't have to worry about," before a shot.
Whoa.
That's aggressive. That's pretty specific. That's just don't. Even if you're not talking about that, even if you're talking about you just had like a wayward dog put down, that's awful enough. But like, if it's the day of your ex-wife's funeral, who you are kind of being suspected of killing, you should probably not say shit like that in public. Is all I'm saying. So, they heard him refer to her as a bitch and a fucking bitch several times. Also, she was always saying that. Which, if that meant you killed your wife, you'd be a wife killer because you've had your own ex-wife problems.
Oh,
like,
sure.
Fucking
I've said
bitch, Jesus
things.
Christ. Yeah, but then she's not dead, so that's good. So
she still breathes.
Now, after a minute here, they end up through all of this. We'll talk about here. They end up arresting the Slovers, all 3 of them.
Really?
The parents and Michael Slover Jr. For something very specific that they find here. But at the same time they do this, they need somewhere for Colton to go. Mm-hmm. So Mary Slover, Michael's sister, takes him. Yeah, the one that really hates, wants cancer to eat Karen's face off. When asked why, she said, quote, "It was the natural progression because she had already been doing many of the tasks of a mother anyway. So what she did is adopted him because it was okay with Michael Jr. because he's sitting in jail and Karen's not there to contest it. So she adopts him, she says, to provide stability and security for Colton. But the birth certificate was changed after the adoption and now listed Mary Kay Slover as the mother of Colton. Took Karen off the fucking...
That's bizarre.
off the birth certificate. No mention.
What are they arrested for?
No mention of the boys for murder. They arrest them for murder. No mention of the boy's mother in the birth certificate. After the adoption in 1999, Mary Slover, Michael Slover Jr., and Colton, this is before the arrest happens, they all moved to Hornbeak, Tennessee. Mary Slover's co-worker said she researched states where grandparent visitation is more restricted, so the Hearns can't see her, can't see him. Karen Slover's parents went to court several times to maintain visitation with the grandson. It was a huge pain in the ass. Now, they found some physical evidence. Witnesses who lived and worked near the used car lot that they ran, the Slovers, saw Michael Slover Jr. and Michael Slover Sr. cleaning up the car lot. This was rare because they had a history of this place being a shithole. Seriously.
We're just going to conveniently start setting it up now.
Yeah, and this was the days right after the murder. So much so that they get constant notifications from the city to clean up or be fined or whatever, and they just ignore it. And it's like it's known as a sloppy place.
We just have to get some time together. That's all.
Yep, it became overgrown with weeds and brush. Some people said they saw Slover Sr. burning debris in an area near the large metal garage. Investigators say later on that they found bone chips that are possibly human and the buttons in that area. That's where they found it. People associated with the Slovers at the car lot reported seeing a bloody mess behind a metal building on the property. A bloody mess, blood everywhere. Michael Sr. said the mess was left over from butchering rabbits.
How many rabbits?
I don't know, but probably a bunch with a chainsaw or with a fucking circular saw or something. So
get them tossed around.
Bloody mess. Another man said the blood was gone after the tall grass was cut. So they cut the grass, they got rid of the blood. So then there's the dig here. They had a lot of concrete and cinders that resembled remnants used to weigh down the bags on the property as well. They called in the U.S. Army to help sift through the soil here. It's a 5,000 square foot area. So they call in the Army. And, this is after they cleaned it all up. So they're really they have to look really close here. 6 months into this dig, the task force found, that's when they finally found the metal button. So that's it took the Army to find a fucking metal button. That's how much this is crazy. During the March 1998 dig, they found the button. They found 2 rivets similar to the buttons and rivets found on the jeans covering the part of her dismembered body. They all matched up. Mm-hmm. They also found a cloth button similar to the button on a woman's sleeve. They found bone chips, but they couldn't make anything of that. They also found they had botanists from the University of Illinois match 2 kinds of plants on the car lot to weeds found in Karen's hair as well.
Yeah.
The trash bags containing the body parts were weighted with concrete. A forensic geologist from Canada said the pieces of concrete are similar to the pieces found at Miracle Motors. Holy shit.
That's good.
No, they were of different colors, but they said that's because one was soaked in water before one wasn't.
Yeah,
so they're going to be different. Authorities said the cinders, which are a byproduct of burning coal at A.E. Staley Manufacturing Company, were washed out of trucks from a company that rented land adjacent to the car lot. So that's where cinders come from there. Drivers washed out the trucks, and the cinders ended up over much of the car lot, forming a cinder and gravel parking lot. He said the cinders are all similar in their makeup, so it's hard to tell where they can't tell a batch or anything. Right. Also, grass, like we said, they found all sorts of grass here, different ones, 3 different species of grass. It's pretty boring to get into that. The cinder guy was pretty interesting, actually. And then finally, authorities find several dark-colored dog hairs on the duct tape used on a bag to dump part of her dismembered body.
Okay.
Like on the tape that was taped on, there was dog hair stuck to it.
That's what happens when you go in anybody's house that has a pet. That shit is everywhere.
If you put a piece of duct tape on my hoodie right now and pulled it off, even though I'm not near I'm 2,500 miles from my dogs, there will be a dog hair in there. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. It's just it will be there. You have it inside of you. There's dog hairs.
You left them on an airplane seat. They're around.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
So they found several dark-colored dog hairs, like we said. They were only able to extract DNA out of one of the hairs. Dog DNA.
Oh,
they extracted dog DNA. Dude, this has never happened in history of crime, and it's never happened on our fucking show, obviously. So they said based on 1 in 56,000 odds of an animal possessing the same genetic markers on a database containing the genetic profiles of 470 dogs. None of those dogs were from the Midwest, and all were purebred. Christopher Baston, who's an expert in statistical genetics from North Carolina State, was invited to review the data, and they said that they should make adjustments to the calculations to account for the high degree of inbreeding among dogs in the database.
Right.
He said that he placed the odds of a dog possessing the same genetic markers found in the hair with Slover's body to be 1 in 1,680. Wow. So a little bit less, but still... That's pretty fucking close if you're talking about...
How close do you think we are to them, like, putting DNA into a computer and hitting enter, and then, like, it can process that DNA and create the image of the person?
Like in a movie? Basically like on CSI or whatever? Right. That's kind of what they do.
Go, this is what the DNA is, click enter, and then they go, oh, that's the guy, Richard Ramirez. That's what he looks like.
It builds a 3D thing of his face, and you're like, oh, okay, there he is. Let's go grab him.
And then they're going to do that with dogs where they click enter and you're going to see like where the black spots match up on their faces and shit like that. And you go, I've seen that dog. That's fucking Slover's dog.
That's fucking goddamn Slover's. I know that dog. I see it. I can see him. Look at him humping away. So the dog hair here belongs to Cagney, a black Labrador mixed dog owned by the Slovers.
There you go.
He possesses those genetic markers. They said that the tests eliminated the elder Slover's other black Labrador mixed dog and a blonde dog that lived near the Mount Zion car lot as being the source of the hair. It comes from Cagney. So Cagney, fucking Cagney and Friendly solving murders.
Cagney and Lacey.
Cagney and Lacey. So basically in Illinois, if you want to solve a murder, you needed the help of a dog.
Yeah. They're the best at this. Dogs are they are such good detectives. They find everything.
Only a fucking dog can do it, but you can find a dog. So Jesus Christ, this is wild. So they said this is weird and it doesn't happen. We've never done this before. You know, what's up with that? They said because fingerprinting is established in humans doesn't mean that you can just take that and transfer it to the dog world. That's what the attorney said. And they went, actually, we've got some pretty good scientific experts in here who say, fuck yeah, you can.
Yeah.
So give it a shot. Also, a forensic scientist with the Illinois State Police testified a cloth button found at the car lot could have come from a blouse that Karen Slover was wearing when she disappeared. We said that. They compared the button in the car lot with the one found in the torn section of the blouse, and he said the buttons had the same measurements and fabric, and, there's that. So, and then, if the Slovers at this point aren't sucking enough in your brain, if you're not upset with them enough, here you go. Jeanette and Senior had their dogs euthanized after they were matched DNA.
Wow.
Yep.
They took it out on their dogs.
They said, you motherfucker. And
put them all down.
Had them put down.
Wow.
Yep. That's fucking wild, man.
Unbelievable.
So, the prosecutors have a theory here that Karen showed up to pick up her son,
right.
And they said that their theory is that Jeanette shot Karen in the back of the head when she showed up, because that would have been like the normal thing that Jeanette was there. She shot her in the back of the head, and then they think somebody else came, pumped the other 6 into the side of her head, and then they took her down to the car lot, dismembered her in the back there. Bagged up the pieces, weighed them down with concrete chunks from all around the property, threw the bags in Lake Shelbyville, walked out of the woods. That's what they heard. So they said, though, and then they just abandoned the car along the highway to make it look like kept her purse in there and all that shit.
Mom and Dad did it.
They think Mom, Dad, and Junior all did it together. They think she came over because she was seen without her son at about 6 o'clock, so it would have taken until about 6:30, which is when he's already off from work because he got off of work at 6, and then said he went home, but his girlfriend said she doesn't remember seeing him there. And then he shows up at work with wet hair, freshly showered.
Right.
at 8 o'clock. So he had, an hour and a half, an hour, 15 minutes to take her out, dismember her, and do all that shit, and then go to work. Now, my God, they also, and this is so weird, and I only say this, I try not to be graphic or exploitative or whatever, but I say this because I don't know what this is, and I don't know if this is a staging thing or something vicious that they're doing, and it's just part of the case. So I apologize to anyone who finds this gross like I do. So Dr. Travis Hinman, who's an expert in forensic pathology, he examined a portion of the pelvis of Karen Slover. He identified rocks, sand, and gravel in photographs of the body parts. According to him, I'll just use the terms right from the court documents so I don't have to be weird. The vagina and rectum were facing away from the direction of the waves on the lake. That's only important because he found what he described as a large quantity of sand, rocks, and gravel within the vagina and terminal leading to the outside of the anus. The amount of sand, rocks, and gravel that came from the vagina alone formed a mass 10 by 10 by 2 centimeters.
So it wasn't like the water washed it in.
Exactly, because he said,
and she jammed that in there.
She was facing away from the waves, so it wasn't like she was in the waves. And even then, how is that going to go in there?
Yeah, we're watertight. Nothing gets in there.
That's the other thing. He described the vagina as a closed compartment which does not allow materials, even water, to enter. Otherwise, women wouldn't be able to swim. Right. They go swimming like, oh, Jesus, I'm filling up, and it would start coming out of their fucking eyes. What are you kidding me?
They'd be exclusive showerers. That's what they would be.
I mean, I get that, when the rigor process and all that, but it's not going to allow all this in. It's just not, that's not the way it works. He also found a tampon low in the vagina with sand and gravel and rocks very high in the vagina. So almost like a plug to keep the sand in there and the rocks and shit. Based on the amount of sand, gravel, and rocks found above the tampon, he opined that the materials found inside the vagina were not caused by the lake's wave action. Even though the muscles of the body relax after death, the sand, rocks, and gravel were likely placed there because water does not easily enter the vagina, and the tampon served as a substantial obstructive agent.
Unbelievable.
But there's no evidence because of the dismemberment and in the water, there's no evidence that she was sexually assaulted before her death. They don't have evidence that she wasn't, but they don't have evidence that she was either. So the defense tries to break it down a little bit. The Quintez woman who works with Karen at her job, who said that, she was all freaked out after the phone call with Michael. Apparently, she said on her grand jury testimony, she didn't say that Karen was shaking when she got off the phone, but then later on, she said that she was shaking during the trial. So they're trying to break that down a little bit. They also said a detective was called to Cub Foods about the shoplifter, and he said that there was nothing about Junior's behavior that you could think was bad. They said that he apprehended the shoplifter between 4:30 and 5. And Junior left the store at 6:30. So he showed up a little bit after 8. So he's got about an hour to do what he needs to do if he did it. So now the store manager said he worked from 7 a.m. till 6:30 p.m. and he saw Junior periodically throughout the day and was with him between 5 and 6. So he wasn't gone there. But we know she was alive at 6 because she was eating ice cream and buying gum.
Right.
So that doesn't matter.
Does it matter whether or not she was scared of a phone call? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we have the dog DNA and we have a lot of other stuff. Gene Schumann received karate lessons in his home from Junior. Junior taught karate to Schumann and his 3 children and a friend every Monday and Friday from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. On September 27th, Junior did not arrive at the Schumann home until 6:10 p.m. So Schumann noticed nothing unusual about Junior and that he'd been late on other occasions. So he showed up for the karate lesson, though, so he's there. He was wearing blue jeans and a T-shirt, not his karate uniform, as he did about half the lessons. He instructed for about 30 minutes, and then he left about 6:45. Okay. So that's how that worked there. Now, the cop he talked to out on the road, this was the cop was at a vehicular accident, as they put it. It was a Woolery. Officer Woolery was inside her squad car doing paperwork when she saw Junior as he walked toward her car across the grassy median. She spoke briefly with Junior before he walked back to his vehicle across the median. So he walked all the way over a median to talk to her.
Got out of the car and crossed the street for this shit?
Yeah, he said he did. She said that she didn't see anyone with Junior. She recalled talking to an officer about it later on. She said that when she saw Junior, he did not have his karate uniform on, but he was wearing a bulky flannel. And she also testified that he would have had to have crossed 6 lanes of traffic if his car was all the way on the east side like it was. And she said that in the past, Junior had never stopped to converse with her while she was on duty.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, I got to go say hi to her. She's my buddy. No. I just have
6 lanes of traffic to say hello.
to say hello to someone I don't talk to. That's interesting here. So, Trina, his girlfriend, said she got off work at 5, picked up her boys and went to the store, got home about 6:30. Now at trial, she says that he arrived at 7 p.m. Originally, she said she didn't remember him being home. Mm-hmm. She testified also that he had on his karate uniform when he arrived, which we know he didn't because
he didn't. Yeah.
He didn't wear, unless he put it on after the lesson.
Which
I like to teach.
Dumb.
Well, I teach karate, and then I feel so full of karateness that I put a uniform on because it just feels right.
Yeah. Listen, would you look? This is how I sell my lessons. You gotta look the part. You gotta dress for the job you want.
I certainly do. By the way, I look the part now. She said he showered, changed, got something to eat, and then took off to go to Ronnie's to be a bouncer there. She said she didn't remember if he was already home or if he joined her because at the grand jury, she said, I don't remember any of that. I don't remember where he was and all this type of shit here. So he showed up at the bar, like we said, and we found out what all that was. His parents apparently took Colton to Kmart sometime between 5 p.m. and 5:30. She left a note on the door, and Karen knew how to get into the house if she arrived to pick up Colton while they were at the store. When she returned home at 6 p.m., Senior was already at the car lot. So she said that she stayed home with Colton until 8, and then they went to the car lot to see Senior. Prior to going to the car lot, Jeanette called Karen's apartment, but nobody was home, and they were going to go to McDonald's, but Colton fell asleep at the car lot, so they just went home instead. Now, Senior, he would go feed his dogs and shit at the car lot and everything. Sometimes the car lot would be closed for a week because he didn't have time to be there. Wow. So he had a car lot that was like rarely open. It's a very weird thing to own a car lot and have it not really matter to you. He went to his car lot the next morning between 9 and 10 a.m., returned there until noon, and then returned to the lot at 4 or 5. Colton stayed there on Friday and Saturday night. That's how that went. He went daily to feed the dogs, like we said. Then they started cleaning right away. There's a lot of phone calls between the whole family here, but that's normal with a family too, to make a lot of phone calls. Now the dog, like we said, is introduced as a big thing, and people are into that with the DNA and everything.
It's fascinating. I'm blown away.
It's fucking fascinating. Yeah. Another person here, Illinois State Police crime scene investigators. They testified about finding blood and dark-colored debris on the Finley Bridge. They believe parts of the dismembered body were dumped from the bridge. He said the body looked like it may have been. He said the debris looked like it may have been a burnt seat cushion material, and also testified that they saw cinders around the edge of the bridge rail, but did not collect the cinders as possible evidence for some reason. And also, prosecutors contend cinders found embedded in Karen Slover's body match cinders found at the car lot. So there's a lot here going on. Let's see here. This is fucking crazy. They try to argue the concrete stuff based on different color, but the scientists say the dampness would make up for that. There's a lot going on here. At issue during the one testimony was a small amount of alcohol found in Karen's system during the autopsy.
Okay.
But the medical examiner testified that he believes the alcohol came from her inhaler. She has an inhaler and for asthma. And apparently, I don't know, back then, I guess it would say you have a little bit of alcohol in your system, like a trace.
Yeah.
Not like it wasn't like a .04 or anything.
Right.
It was like a trace. So they said that it's possible that she might have had a sip of an alcoholic beverage also. He can't rule that out, but that amount could come from an inhaler also. So, there was that. Now they bring in all the abuse claims. Holy shit. That's a lot. The Slover attorneys object repeatedly to testimony about Michael Slover Jr.'s abusive acts. And each time the judge instructs the jury that the evidence will be given was to be limited to Michael Slover Jr. when it was considered the case in total, blah, blah, blah. Special jury instruction. You can talk about this bad shit, but you can only think about it in a certain way, jury people.
Right.
So, prosecution witness who would have testified about a June 91 incident with Michael Slover Jr. doesn't get to take the stand. It's an ex-girlfriend of his who is set to testify that he threatened her at a property adjacent to the parking lot, and they wouldn't let her be called. Threatened her life, I guess. Mm-hmm. She's not allowed to testify here. And also another person not allowed to testify is a friend of his who would have testified about a conversation which he allegedly had with Michael Slover Jr. about how to commit the perfect crime.
Oh, my God.
Prosecutors said that his description had quote, uncanny similarities to how Karen Slover died.
Right.
But defense attorneys said the testimony would be highly prejudicial. Highly prejudicial because he taught, that's pretty prejudicial to him. Like, of course it is, yeah.
Your Honor, I cannot show evidence that shows my client is clearly guilty.
I mean, that DNA evidence is highly prejudicial.
Right.
They're going to take that shit seriously. Oh, my God. That's
his job
amazing.
as a meat packer is going to be very detrimental to my case about this body found in the meat packing company.
Holy shit. That's fucking hilarious. They also said the conversation occurred before Karen and Michael Slover Jr. met, so it doesn't matter. It still has a plan.
All right.
Now, like I said, he brings his girlfriend in to sort of give him an alibi, but it wasn't the same alibi she gave to the grand jury, so it's a little less here. They said they bring in the cleanup of the car lot as a big deal. One employee here is a former employee that worked there for 2 years. He said the lot was normally unorganized and messy. However, the week after Karen was murdered, he observed Senior near a fairly large fire, either in the burn barrel or near it. He said he had never seen Senior burn anything on the property before that time.
Not a guy that burns a lot of shit. That day, burning a lot of shit.
Later that same day, he came into a place to collect rent from this guy. They said he was acting nervous, sweating, and looking over his shoulder. They said they normally knew him to be very calm and laid back. They also said it was unseasonably hot that day, so sweating might have came from that. And he's kind of a big fat guy.
Also, he had a fire, and that'll make you sweat.
Yeah. Another guy testified, too, that had a business right by there, that the lot was unkempt, overrun with old cars and overgrown weeds. And the weekend after the death, he saw Junior with a weed eater along the south fence row, cutting down weeds and doing all sorts of property maintenance. And he said he's never, ever seen Junior do any kind of maintenance on the lot ever. And he's always there. So then they bring in all the car sightings. One that we didn't mention was a guy named Leo Myers just after 5, saw a blonde-haired girl pull up to the left of his car, and the car's license plate was CAD 7, and the blonde was described as petite, attractive, and wearing sunglasses. Okay. He also observed a passenger in the car whom he described as being a young man with brown hair that touched his shoulders. Yeah. Okay. Now, the passenger also had acne around his chin and wore a tan short-sleeved sweater. Jesus, this is very specific.
Look at this guy.
Fuck, man, stared at him. This is a light just staring. He last saw the car on the north end of the town near Mound Road. Now, the following week, he thought he saw the younger man with long hair in the Herald and Review parking lot talking to another heavy-set man. Mm-hmm. I don't know what significance that has. At about 5:20 or 5:25, James Huff stated he was passed by a speeding car with CAD 7 license plate. The last time this guy saw the car was traveling north, heading just south of Cerro Gordo. At the same time, a school bus driver named Vicky Gagnon saw a car with the CAD 7 license plate traveling at a high rate of speed north on Route 105 as well. So this is fucking This car is getting all over the place. It really is. Between 5:30 and 6:30, several people saw Karen and or her car in Cerro Gordo, as we know. We talked about the ice cream cone and the gum and everything like that. And then the chase. Between 8 and 8:20, the Hausch family saw two cars traveling west at a high rate of speed. The second car had a license plate of CAD 7. They later saw the CAD 7 car near the Clinton exit on the right-hand side of the shoulder of Interstate 72 with the driver and passenger side doors open and the dome light on. A couple of the Hausches saw a man 6 foot to 6'3" at the side of the car walking toward the trunk. He had a white mark on the side of his face. They also saw someone laying down in the front seat of the car with his or her legs sticking outside the driver's door. So, shortly before... Keep driving. See ya. Minding my own business. That looks like a murder. That's the song on the radio.
I got shit to do. I got shit to do.
Gotta put the kids to bed tonight. Yeah. No time for this shit. Gonna have to stick around and talk to police officers. I don't think so.
Treating it like Rusty in Christmas Vacation. I got to put the hogs out.
Jesus
got
Christ.
Homework to do. Got to pay those bills. The fuck out of here. It was David Swan was the guy's name. Maybe that's the D and the S in CADS. I've been sitting here for an hour, 2 hours and 15 minutes and 48 seconds trying to figure out what the fuck does CADS
David
mean?
Swan 7. Cock-ass David Swan 7. So, so all these people are seeing the cars. The bumper to bumper people. Another person saw bumper to bumper, high rate of speed.
Yeah.
So that was multiple people, not just the one person here. Another person, and people see, sometimes they see her by herself, and sometimes they see her with somebody in the car as well, which is weird. Another person said they saw her, said she tends to read license plates and notice that plate. Jesus Christ, man. Now, in the closing argument...
It annoyed her, James.
What is that, goddammit? That fucking plate. Now, the closing argument, the defense attorney said, quote, even when you add up all these things, it doesn't equal first-degree murder.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't... I mean, yeah, there's a lot of, quote, evidence. Right. Yeah, sure. Why not? But, I mean, come on.
Degree? Come on, guys.
What's evidence, really, in a case like this? It's really all just hearsay and bullshit, and who knows what's going on, right? So the verdict comes in, and this is Jeanette, Michael Sr., Michael Jr., all three of them lined up. The whole family here. Mary is not charged with anything, the sister. She's still got Colton, but more on that in a moment. And
she's charged of nothing except for in the court of public. People think she's a twat. Right?
That's cancer, eat the face off, all that kind of shit.
She's kind of an asshole.
And this is, I would say so. And this is, by the way, this is 2002 that the fucking verdict finally comes in.
6 years.
The trial didn't start till then. I mean, it took that long. They didn't get a grand jury until 1998. It kept going on and on. So they find everybody guilty of murder in the first degree, all of you. Sentencing comes around. They sit the whole family down. Mm-hmm. It's a nice family moment when you can be sentenced. We rarely get it where you're sentenced with your mom and dad together, you know? It's nice. It's quaint, honestly.
We had that one where the parents and the daughter...
New Jersey.
Right, but they had a separate trial, right?
No, because their sentencing was...
I remember
seeing them in court together. Yeah,
I think that's the only time.
That's the only time I've ever seen it, but we're back. So they say, you, family, may fuck off. You, fam, may fuck off, all of you. They are sentenced to each for 60 years in prison for murder.
My God.
And then both the Slover men are sentenced to an additional 5 years each for concealing a homicide. Mm-hmm. So 60 for Jeanette, 65 each for the boys. Now, 2003... Mary and Colton here. Mary's watching Colton. Right. She ends up losing custody of Colton in 2003 after she was declared an unfit parent.
Wow.
Because she was involved. She is found legally to be involved in the concealment of Karen Slover's death.
She was there.
They never charged her with anything, but they say she knew about it and concealed it.
Okay.
So didn't tell anybody about it. So the judge here, Scott B. Diamond, also ruled there was insufficient evidence to support prosecutors' contention that Slover was unfit because she'd been complicit in the murder, but it was enough to take the kid away. They take Colton and put him in state guardianship here for a minute. He ends up, though, being taken in by Larry and Donna Hearn, who were excited as all get out to get. They said they're so excited they feel like little kids. They can't wait to get Colton and try to help him and all this sort of shit. They're good people. They seem like those Hearns.
Good so
the 2005. They're trying to link Mary Slover to this bad. They want Mary Slover.
Yeah.
They genetically test a cat hair.
Don't have pets, motherfuckers.
Don't have pets if you want to murder people.
And of course that bitch has cats.
Of course she does, Mary. They test that out. Mary Slover, obviously her brother had been there. They find they could not reach a conclusion with the pet hair, basically.
Damn it.
Mary Slover formerly lived and had the cat hair. An animal DNA expert compared the hair with the hair taken from the vehicle she was driving, and they couldn't get a conclusive match on that. We don't know about how that works, and then
inconclusive that she killed anybody or had anything to do with it, but we do know absolutely, unequivocally, Mary's a twat.
That we do know.
Yeah.
Mary seems like a real twat.
She wanted
a cancer to eat a woman's face off.
What a bitch.
What an asshole. So
Feels
it's a grim Mary.
Say that.
She's a grim Mary. She is, though. So the attorney who represented Mary during the custody hearing here, he maintains that the cat hair evidence was meaningless even if it did match. He said Colton played with Mary Slover's cats and could have transferred the hair to his mother, which is true.
Sure.
Which is true.
Yeah.
That you got to have that. That's a fact. Now, a cousin to them and a supporter, Kelly Krinko, with no fucking vowels except for an O. CRNKO.
Nope.
The fuck out of here with that. Pick a fucking vowel and stick it in there, people. I don't give a shit which one, but you need one. That's a cousin and a supporter of Mary. Questioned what the cat hair evidence means now. They said, quote, they were going to use it to fit their story. My question is, are they on the lookout now for this cat owner? Okay. They also said that it was complicated by the fact that the authorities were not able to take the hair directly from Mary's two cats because they were dead. So this had to be like cat hair they found in the corners of her house that she didn't vacuum well enough.
Ugh.
So, now, they argued that Mary Slover conspired to abduct Colton from Karen, a plot that culminated with Karen's murder and the adoption of the boy by Mary. So that's the angle they're going to take. She said she adopted the boy in order to do what was best for her nephew. Now, the Slovers appeal on all sorts of shit. They're challenging the canine DNA evidence. They're saying that they saw too many autopsy photos and all sorts of shit like that. They did say that the admission of certain statements by the defendants was an error, but ruled that the error did not rise to the level of denying them a right to a fair trial. So, 2003, is the whole Colton thing went on. The judge rules that Mary Slover, or Carol Reynolds, it was a court-appointed special advocate, Carol Reynolds. She said that Mary Slover is, quote, depraved and unfit. Okay. But also said that she should continue to have supervised visits with Colton because it'd be better for the kid. Which, I mean, if she's depraved and unfit, Jesus Christ.
No.
The written orders, which said that statements that had been made, Colton must be safeguarded from anyone who believes his father and paternal grandparents might be innocent. That's what they said.
Yeah.
Now, the Krinkos, the cousins who wanted to take custody, he said that they know. The judge said, quote, the Krinkos have become a Trojan stalking horse for the Slovers. They, too, believe the Slovers did not commit the murder and that Mary Slover was not involved in the concealment of the homicide. They would continue to feed the minor Colton lies and untruths and no doubt cut off visitation with the Hearns, contrary to their assertion, which the court could not then rectify. He said, in the best interest of the minor, he be raised by the Hearns so that he'll know the truth of his background.
Yeah, and also, that's the closest blood to him. That's who he should go to.
Yeah,
Jesus
that's who you
fucking
should.
Christ.
Not going to go to some cousins of your
cousins or
ridiculous.
an aunt. Fuck you.
Murderers' cousins? No,
Yeah.
fuck off. No. Colton went to live with the Hearns. The workers who told the Krinkos and Mary, the DCFS, what is that? Some sort of child services thing.
Yeah.
Told the Krinkos and Mary Slover that Colton packed away all cards, letters, and toys that they all gave him because he was convinced the Hearns would confiscate the items and not let him have them because they've convinced him that they're terrible people. The Slovers have. Slovers have convinced him that you're going to go to these terrible people. The Hearns, though, they said they're giddy as a couple of kids about having Colton. It's great. They said that Colton appears to be making a healthy adjustment to the new situation. He says, quote, Mary says, she says that he looked like she's trying to say the kid looked like he was well adjusted to the situation, but I know better.
Okay.
She said, I know him well enough to know he's trying to be strong and not show his emotions. He told me before he wouldn't ever let anyone see him cry, but that just makes me worry about him more.
Oh, man.
The happier he looks, the more I'm worried about him.
Yeah.
Now, 2008.
Yeah.
The Illinois Innocence Project takes up the Slovers case.
Stop that.
Yeah, I don't know what that's a waste of time of people
What did they find?
Who are actually nothing. The petition alleges that David Swan, who was the boyfriend, misled the jury when he described his car, the one she was last seen driving, as having clear rather than tinted windows. I read 30 pages on fucking tinted fucking windows and whether the car had tinted windows and whether this person saw it had tinted windows, and when you saw it, did it have tinted windows? Was it at night? Did they look tinted? Could you see inside? Was the dome light on? Was there fucking dude, it's so much tint talk. If I was a lawyer, I'd fucking hang myself in a courtroom if I had to talk about tinted windows for a fucking day and a half.
Or you'd stroke your cock about it because that's what's going to get these fucking nut jobs out of prison. If you're depends on which side of the aisle that tint lies. You know?
That's true.
And Chicago, Illinois, you can't really have tinted windows there, right? How dark is tint, and does it even fucking look tinted?
Does it matter?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So, Jesus Christ, Mark Camper, a student in the wrongful convictions class during the 2005 spring semester, obtained evidence from S&K Pontiac and GMC in Springfield that the car in question had factory tinted windows.
Okay, so it's barely tinted.
It's barely tinted.
Clear.
And if you ask a guy, do you have tinted windows, and he didn't have tints put in,
right.
you say no.
No, right.
If you have, every car I've ever had has factory tinted
right.
windows, and if you say, do you have tints, I'd say no.
No. Right.
Because I didn't put tints
do
on
anything
it.
to it. I
So
bought
it's
it
just
like
whatever
this.
Comes
It's
with the
just
car.
the way it is.
Yep, and that's basically what they're trying to say
Wow.
here, that he testified against that. So the court filing mentioned an untested human hair found at the scene, as well as a fingerprint near a spot of the victim's blood at Finley Bridge, and ordered a hearing to get potentially new evidence in the case. So they're saying that you can get new evidence here. The prosecutor said that he doesn't understand why the Illinois Innocence Project is involved in this now. And it's the University of Illinois at Springfield that does that.
That's why.
And
it's kids that think that they can do something and change the world, and we can find something that exonerates
sometimes
somebody.
they do,
We're
though.
Amazing. Yeah, I get it.
A lot of times, but this is the wrong tree.
There's no reason to look into this.
You're barking up the wrong tree, man. It's just a lot. So
maybe
there's better
Innocence
people.
Project should find out if Mary isn't a twat. Do that.
Yeah,
for
let's
me.
find out.
Because I'm convinced.
Mary is innocent of twatdom. We found, and now we shall go from there.
Yeah.
In 2014, they won a ruling allowing DNA testing on certain fingerprint evidence, but that didn't go anywhere, and that ended up dying on the vine. So where are they now? Jeanette is 72 or 73 now, resides in the Logan Correctional Center. Parole date of 2029 and projected discharge of 2032. And she has blonde hair now for some reason.
Weird.
And Michael Slover has in a medium security Pontiac Correctional Center. This is senior. He 2032 is his parole date. and a potential discharge of 2035. And now Mike Jr. is 50 and incarcerated at the Illinois River Correctional Center. Parole date of 2031, projected discharge of 2034.
He's so young still.
Yeah, he's still young. He's going to get out and be alive and shit. Now, Colton is in his late 20s, obviously, today. He's born in 93. Uses a different name now because this has been covered on TV back in the day and all that.
Ruined his life.
Apparently, he works as a home improvement in the home improvement industry as a flooring remodeler.
Oh, God, it's so hard, Colton.
It's so hard.
Hang
you
in
can
there,
charge
buddy.
a lot of money, though. Good for you, Colton.
Yeah.
So, that poor kid, please, if anybody finds him, do not bother that poor fucking kid. Jesus Christ. I just feel so bad for him. His mother's dead in the most horrible fucking way possible.
Yep.
And then he finds out his father, grandparents, and everybody was in on it. Not only that, but then they lied to him about it for years. How fucking just, I mean, how could you trust anybody?
Worse,
poor guy, man.
The whole worst part of it is that she's dead because they wanted him.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
Other thing. Yeah. That's it too, man. Dude, that poor kid. I mean, I really hope I hope he got counseling.
Yeah.
I really hope he got some good counseling. And I don't even know what the fuck, man. I feel so bad for that kid.
That's terrible.
That's one of it's as bad as any kid you've ever felt bad for on the show, where you're like,
absolutely.
Jesus, anyone that wasn't like dead or molested or something, obviously, whatever. Any live child. This is the most.
That's maybe worse this way because the poor kid's got to live with this every goddamn day.
So we really hope he's doing well. We really do. I mean, I hope that's well, and I hope the Hearns are still alive too, because they seem like nice people.
Yeah,
his grandparents, Karen's parents.
They were giddy, like a couple of kids. That's adorable.
Couple of kids. Isn't it cute? Yeah, that's nice stuff. So that everybody is Mount Zion, Illinois, and a fucking crazy story, I have to say. In terms of brutality, in terms of how it's solved with dog DNA, like it's just a crazy ass case, man.
That Mary's a single woman, you know that, right? There's no way that woman's married to somebody.
Yeah, I don't think she was. Well, when they moved to was it Hornbeak or whatever the fuck it was, Tennessee, it was Michael Jr., Mary, and Colton moved. So seems like probably not. She's probably not with anybody or married to anybody. So
her last name is the last
Slover
name of parents,
still.
Right?
Yeah. Who knows if she would have kept it anyway?
She's a single woman. Nobody's putting up with that woman.
A lot of cats put it that way. So no, listen to her. She's terrible. Fucking murder accomplice. Jesus Christ. If you
so
enjoyed
fun
that,
to hate her right now. I feel terrible
it,
about
fuck
kind
her.
of, but in another way, no, she sucks.
No, she sucks. She's a piece of shit. She's like shit Karen. She's not even grim Karen. She's shit Mary.
That's shit Mary.
Shit Mary. How you doing there, shit Mary?
I hope
Don't
terrible.
be a shit Mary, everybody.
Wouldn't it be hilarious? Never mind. That's me.
Shit Mary. So if you enjoyed that show, tell the world about it. Get on Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. Say something, though, and it helps drive us up the charts. We don't know why. It just does. We don't run Apple. What the fuck do we know?
But I do know
icon.
that Apple does not accept it if you write shit Mary as your review.
Don't write shit Mary. No, they won't take curses. You can probably do some asterisks in there and then Mary, and that's fine. Shit Mary it is. We need a Shit Mary t-shirt now. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything small town murder and crime and sports related, and especially coming up on May the 6th. It's a Thursday night, but we'll have it so it's available all weekend.
All weekend.
So everybody can get it, all your people overseas and everything like that. You'll have to watch it. Crime in Sports virtual live show. And crime and sports live shows small town murder live shows are great, but crime and sports live shows are just... It's not the same. There's no like big murder thing. So, you have to be it's a comedy show and you have to be down for a minute for a couple of somber moments. Not for crime and sports.
No.
You just make fun of an asshole for 2.5 hours, or at a live show, it'll be an hour and a half. But either way, wow, is it fun.
I hope
Get your
Shit Mary
tickets.
played some sort of like cornhole professional tournament.
Shit Mary, the cornhole champion. So get your tickets there. They'll go on sale this week. We're not sure exactly when in the next couple days. Keep checking. And another good place to check to see when things are on sale is on social media. We are at Murder Small on Facebook, or on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram, and also at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook as well, if you want to follow that for those tickets.
Yep.
It'll be on Instagram as well. Get those tickets. I'm telling you, that's going to be fun. I'm
really
around
excited
for that.
about it. I really am.
That's going to be, we're blowing that shit out, because we're not going to have another virtual live Crime and Sports. It's never going to happen again. I'll tell you I'll guarantee you that right now. So we're going to really leave it all on the table for you guys, and or on the floor, on the court,
right,
all over shit Mary. It's happening.
And lately, it's been asked a lot about vile human beings, and that podcast shall be started fairly shortly.
It will.
Look, we got a lot of things we're dealing with, and a lot of emails that we send about other things as well. And
there's another thing coming too.
We're trying our hardest to get through this.
Have to do one thing first before we get to that business-wise, and it's something that involves a whole bunch of pieces being in place. So don't worry, good stuff coming soon for everybody. It's all to give you guys good content. That's one thing. So
trying to
do
give
all
you
of that.
much as we can, as often as we can, and
absolutely,
the main part of it is as best as we can, because we want
the shit, man.
Putting out a shit product is.
No, we're not about
that's
that.
Trash.
No, that's a shit Mary. So Patreon.com. Speaking of a good product, Patreon is the most worth it $5 you're going to spend for anything show related, for any show. We really bring it on those Patreons, and you get access to both Small Town Murder and Crime and Sports Patreon. Right. And like Crime and Sports, the last Patreon we did was about the Hotel Cecil documentary, and fun. The missing Lisa Lamb. It had nothing to do with sports. So these bonus episodes are more freewheel, and we can kind of do what we want. This week, and also the prisoner dating game was last week, so you missed that. This week, over at patreon.com/crime and sports, you can get on for the Crime and Sports show. It'll be Marv Albert, the sportscaster forever, who had just a weird sex scandal that was super creepy, resulted in criminal charges and everything else. If it was just a sex scandal, who cares? But it was criminal, so it falls under our jurisdiction. We're going to talk about that. And then for the Small Town Murder one, we're going to talk about the Netflix documentary about the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, and we'll get all sorts into that, man, because I've been wanting to talk about him for a long time. So you can get that and everything else at patreon.com/crime and sports. And that will make you a producer, making you eligible for a shout out. Not only eligible, you will have a shout out. Jimmy will mispronounce your name while trying to pronounce it perfectly. Yeah. So you can do all of that at patreon.com/crime and sports. And on top of that, if you just want to be a good person, have great karma, and just do something nice, and also be a producer, hear your name shouted out wrongly, you can do that as well over at PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. That said, Jimmy, please hit me with the list of people who would never leave my car running on the side of the road and dismember me into many pieces and put me in a pond right now.
This week's executive producers are Danielle Marr, Mara Wolf, Mara. Is that Mara?
Mara?
I don't know, James. Cameron Kushwara's wife, Wendy, had a birthday this week. Happy birthday.
Happy
Jordan
birthday,
Bennett, Daniel Levy. I want Levy. It's a Levy, right? Yeah.
It could be Levy or Levy, depending.
I want that to be Eugene's boy, but it's probably not. Carolyn Osborne, Francisco Ariza, Betty Murphy, Matthew Richards, and Remington Richards, and also Irene Cruz. Thank you guys so much. Truly, you're incredible.
And Remington's a cool name.
It really is. Yeah.
It's pretty badass.
I like that. Other producers this week are Luke Rogers, Wrestling's Donnie. Remember Donnie? You know Donnie.
Yeah,
Donnie, who sends us all kinds of wrestling shit.
Donnie's the shit, man.
Yeah, his girlfriend, I believe, Emily. Maybe just a friend. Maybe he wants it. I don't know. She got a new job though. Congrats, Emily.
Congrats, Emily.
Right. Emmeline Brumley donated both ways. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you.
Matthew Henry also, Maria Rasper, Annabelle Wolf, Peyton Meadows, Michelle Miller. I think that's the Michelle Miller that lives in northern Arizona that drives all over the place.
I think it is.
Thank you. I think so. Otherwise, it could be another Michelle Miller.
Otherwise, thank Michelle Miller. Yeah. Either way, we thank you, Michelle Miller.
Also, Thomas Smith, Alex Ortiz, Nicholas Ryard, Carl Kirshner, Gary Howard, Jacob Harper, TJ Mack, Don Finch had a birthday. Happy birthday, TJ. Don. Amanda Knight, Christine Tate, John Miller, Hunter Erickson had a birthday. Happy birthday. Surfing pioneer Duke Peo Kahinu, Moko Huli Hola Kahanamuka.
Awesome.
That's all wrong. It's all
Huli
wrong.
Hala Kolamuka. Thank you.
Erwin Lopez, Morris Buttermaker, who I believe is in a movie, Morris Buttermaker. I think it's a reference to that.
I don't know. I
also,
hope so.
Rabbi Shmulovich. Shmulovich?
Well, thank you.
Susanna Platt, Todd Cochran, Daphne Jean Baptiste, Corey and Kelly Fowler, Krista Fleischer, Beth Charlton had a birthday. Happy birthday. Jen Excel from Discord. Evidently, Discord is a thing, and a lot of people talk about us over there. I don't know how to get on it or what it is. I don't know if it's discord.com. There's a thing called Discord, and there's conversation about us. So thank you all over there for doing that.
We love you.
Sherry Smith, Janice Hill, Elizabeth Thompson, Annie Goulahy.
Nice. Well done.
Oh, that's the Overboard reference right there, Annie Goulahy.
Oh, yeah. That's
My last name is Goulahy.
Goulahy. Roy.
Barbara Flick, Jessica Masseri, Robert fucking Patrick, Jonathan Gorostieta.
Hey.
Sarah Surridge, she put umlauts over all her vowels. That's
good.
Lovely. TJ Bartlett in a triple axle dump truck. He drives a triple axle, James.
Jesus Christ.
Michelle Crotty, Scissor Cesars, Jennifer Visconti, Ashley Vio, Michael DeGrief, Marshall Geralt, Sarah Young, Sarah Ficht, Jesus. Alyssa Caris, Emmeline Brumley, I said that. Jennifer Morales, Mike Burton, Gregory Beamer, Alexis Nobis, Adam Yeager, Corey Murdoch, Simon Brown, Dakota Moore, RDC, Jen Nuri, Christian Land, Andre Russell, Stephanie Griggs, Matthew Franklin, Jimmy Marks III. What? I don't know what that is. Kent Hull, David Klinger, Cortland Wise, Juliet with no last name, Nicole Schroeder, Kim Boyd, Aaron Gilmore, Jessica Gandy, Glenn Small, Stephanie Mueller, Cole Lynch, Kaylani Segovia, Marlon Bowen, Veronica Phillips, Kayla Hilliard, Evelyn Dixon, Jacqueline Gable, Emily Haynes, Amanda Irwin, Gabby Rockhill, Jeff G, Liam Cocker. Oh, boy. David Newman. Nope, that's Did Newman. What? Why is that Did? That's somebody with the last name of Newman, because my computer decided to change their first name to Did.
Well,
no way there's somebody.
Thanks, Did Newman.
Maybe it's Deed. I don't know.
Died Newman.
Raul Montano, Alexis Sermier, Susan Hammond, Angela Joyner, Ashley Schmidt, Mike Hawk Hertz. Good for you, sir. You got it
Very
through.
nice.
Congratulations. Darlene Fitzgerald, Ashley D. Will, Tom Persinger, Sarah Torrance, Sarah Hobson, Carolyn Pulaski, Sarah Carson, Dana with no last name, T.C. Palmater, Gloria Davidson, Cassie Ann Schmidt,
Maybe.
Stuart Weissman, Lauren Wolf, Jessica Schwind, Adam Wyatt, Matt Bichard, Jessica Cordes, Laura Nolan, oh boy, Kane Alang, Stephanie Hillman, Gabriel with no last name, Julie Rye Jurgens, got all that Jurgens money, Kate with no last name, Courtney Drake, Arlene Dameron.
Damn, Aaron.
Tiffany Hansen, Elizabeth Linloff, Megan Hanlon, Laura with no last name, David Murray, Jill Reiniger, oh boy, Andrew Lamper, Taylor Smith, what?
You just mispronounced Smith. That's great. That's a new low, Jimmy.
Mary Vaughn, Faye Glover, Ted Cervantes, Jennifer. Boy, oh boy. Jennifer Reeves, Peggy with no last name, Blake Adams, Colin Adams, Vinyl Pacheco, River Moore, Brooke Harrison, Tatum Kendall, Robert Smith, Brianna Simon, Craig Meyer, Rebecca Branca. Oh boy, what did I do? Awatif, Adele Ishmael Decker. Oh, I'm sorry. Connor with no last name. Carla Nielsen, Heidi Holland, Susie White, Rick, Sam Squanch, Chris Tracy, Crystal Krieger, Randy Cloudis, Reefer Doctor, Mandy Frank, Maria Lugo, Miranda Armstrong, Jarrett Carroll, Jeremy with no last name, Zane 053. What happened?
You're cooking, man. You're cooking.
I'm going. Ben Levesque, Amanda Vilson, Heather Bennett, Carly Bird Irwin, D. Schaefer 06, Melissa Rose, Dwayne Coder, Jennifer Dabrowski, Cody Tyree, Mike and Jess Miller, John Cunningham, Stephanie Shady, Mish Moore, Jennifer Williams, Anne-Marie Concha, Cherie Gregory, Jesse Blue, Dustin Motley, Kelly Shanklin, God damn it, Francisco Ariza, Hollywood, no last name, Michael Sheffield, Gabe Gonzalez, Cynthia Person, Lacey Cowgill, cows don't have gills, Jade McCracken, oh boy, Amy Smart, Michelle Alvarez, Michelle Brown also, Tyler Rutherford, Brian Chatfield, Brenna Thornley, Jen Huber, Kelly Anderson, Ruth Dunlap, Bill Bowes, Justin S., Jamie Monroe, Kenneth Clay, Nikki Woods, Jennifer Schrader, Alexandra Blue Wilson, Tabitha, nope, that's Talitha, Krill, Megan Butler, Captain Awesome, Heather Crow, Chris with no last name, Jay Bell, Brianna Hagberg, Layla Carlisle, Belle Gill, Katie McBroom, Jessica Smith, Catherine Payne, Victoria Doyle, Amelia Simmons, Amanda Laboud, Heather Lake, John Penrod Jr., Marissa with no last name, Melissa Hotstinsky, Justin Peterson, Brandy Barton, what the fuck, that was too easy and I ruined it, Jennifer Costa, Marlissa Nicholson, Susan Skugard, Eris Van Mayhem, Jesus, Emily Dillon, Krista Lagasse, I don't know, Susie Pike, Susan McFarland, DPG, Ashton Sova, Dan with no last name, Griffin Murphy, Kayla McCann, Andy Lopez, Erica Neva, John Schrader, Sarah King, Bonnie Foster, Alan Mason, Jay Lizotte, Ashley Levin, Dylan Hosey, David Durden, James Robinson, Jesse with no last name, Patrick Tyler Edwards, Haley Davis, Renee Lighthall, yes, Angela Davis, Jody Pell, Sweet. Jenny with no last name, Daniela Refugio, Nicole Freeman, and Kevin Dowdy, Andrew Helvey, Jesus, Jackin, nope, that's Zach. Zach Lebsack.
Jack and Lebsack. Thanks, Jackin. Keep on jacking, pal.
Eric Golby, Josh Ross, Carl Isaacson, E. Walanka, Megan, Ebony Ingram, Jason Molnar, Christine Glomvalski. I did. I'm an asshole. God. Melanie Moran, Michael Warwick, Megan Bullock, Matt Foster, Josh Lindsay, Caleb, Brian Jones, the Diamond, what is that? Dynamics.
Hey.
The Diamondex.
We got it.
Katie Light, Aaliyah with no last name, Courtney Close, Luke Salomon, Patty Scott, Megan with no last name, Brooke Bones, Charles Chandler, Sean Pfeiffer, Christine Tack, Sean Patrick, nope, that's Kirkpatrick, Zachary Brinkerhoff, Courtney Tittle, Jarrett with no last name, Jenny Groth, Samantha Fitzgibbon, Jason Cover Rabuius. Coleman 6, Turtle Run, Kane Stripe, Carolyn Pepler, Alexis from Hospitality Podcast, Haley and Brenton Plant, Kevin Wright, Nathan Aldridge, and Brett Stetson from that Stetson fortune. Jesus Christ. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much with all your hat money.
Thank you, everyone, so much. Seriously, from the bottom of our dead, cold, shriveled up little hearts, we cannot thank you. You make the world go round for us, and just thank you for everything you do for us. We try to hustle as best we can for you and make it all worth it, and because we just feel so thankful that we want to make sure that you're happy, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people, because we're comedians, and every comic has a fucking podcast, and there are thousands of them that you can choose from. And I feel like a flight attendant right now, but thank you for choosing us.
Yeah, and there's only 4 things to choose from there.
Right.
Here, there's literally a million, and you're choosing us, so thank you. We appreciate that. You didn't just choose the cheapest one. Yeah. 1 million, and they're all free. So how easy is that to pick something?
And you chose us, and you've helped us build something that we can't do without you. And without you guys, we are one of the other millions of podcasts that people don't
Nobody gives
hear.
a shit about.
And we're
Now,
really thankful that you give a shit about us, and not just us, but this show, obviously this show, and the things that we make, and you're the reason we do it, so thank you.
And what if the people wanted to give a shit about you, Jimmy? How could they find you?
You can give a shit about me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter and Instagram, unless your name is Shit Mary. Then stay the fuck away.
No shit, Mary.
I don't want to hear from you, Mary.
Nope, not at all.
What about you?
I'm at Jimmy P is funny. You know how to Google search people, everyone, don't you? I think so. Do that. Find us. Keep following. Keep listening every week. Listen to Crime and Sports on Tuesdays. Damn it. Listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie because I have to keep watching fucking Twilight. Do all these goddamn things and keep coming back every single week because we'll be. I know I'll be back because until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.